Welcome, everybody, to Crunch Time with Jeff, Booner, Lukas, and Gentry. If you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate you. Thank you. We're at 6.5 thousand.
Right there.
Well,
right
good.
there.
The people are they're
putting
showing
the pressure
love.
on.
Yes.
Pressure is being applied.
I love it. It's all thanks to you guys. I know we posted the Broderick Martin conversation today. A lot of comments. People felt they were more in line with you. Lukas got some heat today, certainly on that Broderick video. But that's what makes this great, man. We have great conversations. We love it. We appreciate you guys again. We have a packed show tonight. It's Wednesday, so you know what that means. John Maakaron.
Doc, baby.
John Maakaron is joining the program. 8:45. He'll be here, host of the Detroit Sports Podcast and publisher from All Lions. And we'll have some great questions for him, obviously. But Booner, how we feeling today, man? We got Lukas joining in a second. Gentry will be here in a second.
Feel great. $1 million. I always say I feel like $1 million because I feel like $1 million. I'm not getting paid $1 million, but I feel like it. So I feel good today. Yesterday was a great show. I had a blast talking about the Broderick thing. I'm going to bring that up to the doc here. I want to see where he stands on the defensive line and as well as Broderick. I'm interested in that. But packed show. The prep, everything, it looks like we have a packed show. A lot of things are starting to happen. When you think things are slowing down, Jeff Iafrate, things start picking up again. And that's when we get working here. And I love when we have work to do.
Oh, I love it.
That brings out the dog in me. You know what I mean? That brings out the dog in me.
Yeah, we don't run from the grind. No, we do not.
No, we love the grind.
A player that I thought of that does not run from the grind is Amon-Ra St. Brown. Did you see the video of him hooping today?
Yes, I did. I would have, to be honest, if I'm going one-on-one versus St. Brown, come on. Like, you're on he's a part of the Booner Path. That is proven. He's posted videos. I'm locking him up, though. I'm slapping the floor. We're locking up.
Full court press.
Whoever was guarding him just got cooked.
He was in like it was like an LA Fitness or something. I mean,
I would love to know where they were at. I would like to go hoop one there. If him and Jahmyr Gibbs are there all the time.
Yeah, well, look at this video. We posted it's on our social media. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown hitting a game winner. And I guess it looks, I don't know. This looks like I can't tell by the flooring. I can't really read it. I wish I could see the
tell
logo.
Where it is.
But he played with some other players. I think Gibbs was there.
Gibbs was. Yeah, I saw a different angle of it from the side. And it was a better video. It came out like hours later. And Gibbs was like walked up to him and gave him a dab up. You know, let's go, brother. I mean,
this guy, look at that. Like, and again, yeah, he's a baller.
Might have to play that back a couple times.
Someone said I think it was Danny Bennett said the guy who he gave he was getting buckets on looked like Adam Baydoun. I cannot confirm or deny.
It does look like Adam.
Adam was getting buckets. Here's the thing with this. All right. And I'm all for players having fun, getting workouts, right? And we just had the conversation yesterday, NFL versus NBA.
Don't be that guy. I don't want you to be that guy.
I don't want my guy
to be that guy. No, Jeff.
The last thing we need, all right, is Amon-Ra St. Brown hurting himself in an LA Fitness.
Can I ask you this? Is he not allowed to do any physical activity outside of football? No,
I never
whatsoever.
said that.
Like, can he go swimming?
What? Yeah.
Can he go hiking?
Yeah.
You can roll your ankle hiking. You can get hurt doing all of those things. He's not out there like playing like 100 miles per hour, I'm sure. And I'm sure as well, the other people on the other team know hey, this is Amon-Ra St. Brown. Let's not dive for a ball at this guy's knees. Like, this is Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm sure they're all, it's not like, okay, you roll your ankle, you're out for a couple weeks and you get back, like training camps in 2 months. Come on, Jeff, come on. I knew someone was going to take that angle. And to me, it's like, I do get there's certain things we don't want our athletes doing. Dude, every NFL player has videos of them playing pickup in the offseason. That's like conditioning, I'm sure. Like, they're just out there having fun, even if they're not going 100%. Shoot the ball a little bit. Come on, dude. Let this guy.
No. Okay. Here's the thing with it. Okay, let me try and be fair. I'm not trying to poo-poo in anyone's party. All right,
you're poo-pooing on a party. All right,
but pickup. You have to understand too those non-contact injuries, and especially in these pickups. If he just got paid, dude. Now listen. And here's the thing: Patrick Mahomes is an extreme example. I understand, but you remember that video of Pat Mahomes hooping, and then the Chiefs were like, "Nope," and he hasn't Like after that, they were like, nah, you ain't hooping. After they paid him. So they're like, hey, listen, he's an important player. All right, just make sure.
Yes, but dude,
Nobody dive at that man's knees. Please keep him safe. That's I don't want nothing. Basketball is like the epitome of non-contact injuries, and those are not good. All right, so
come on.
I
get what you're saying. I'm
I
with
want
you a little bit,
wide
but
receiver one to be safe. All right,
I'll say this. I'm with you, Jeff. But
okay,
you got to let the man have a little fun.
Yeah, and okay, and I don't want it to be that. All right, I'm just putting just maybe like a little. Hey, be careful, Josh. He says, "Free country, let that man live." Jesus, it's fair.
If they don't want him doing it, put it in the contract so he can't do it.
Hey, and in all day Detroit sports, don't play at a gym with randos. That's dangerous. Yeah, you don't know where these guys are doing. Hey, could be a Packers fan in there. Could be a Packers fan in there.
Jeff, if you're at a gym in Detroit, Metro Detroit, whatever it is, and guys are out there playing basketball, I'm sure 95% of them know who Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs are. Hey, fellas, these two fellas are going to be playing pickup with us. If you guys don't know who they are, they're probably the most important athletes in the city of Detroit right now. We're going to play with them. Let's not get them injured. Let's play smart here, fellas. All right, cool. Let's play. Done. All right, deal. Not going to get hurt.
Yeah. And again, I don't, compared to like this comment, Anakin Sky Ogre, he says, let the guy hoop. He's not pulling a Rashee Rice. I'd rather him hoop than do that. So,
first of all, Rashee Rice, he needs to figure something out. He needs to, dude, you have a career right there in front of you, and you just like constantly right now are in the news. That needs to get figured out very fast, too.
Yeah, it's a disaster over there.
Someone in his circles, or he needs someone around him to say, hey, dude, focus on football. Who cares about this other stuff? You don't need to be going out anymore.
And here, like Coach Walk 37, some driveway All-American dives at Amon-Ra St. Brown's knees. Yeah, hey, as long as he's not going 110, just go pull back, like ETN said, pull it back to about 60%.
All right? Just out there having fun.
No, not diving for loose balls or, trying to block shots or, trying to jump when you shouldn't. Just, hey, as long as he's chilling, I'm okay with it. But yeah, he can ball. I never watched Amon-Ra St. Brown actually hoop.
Can I throw something out there? I've never met Amon-Ra in person yet. He is shredded, but he looks not small. I don't know if just the guy next to him was really bigger. Looked a little shorter than I thought. I've never met him in person, so I don't know. Just looked a little shorter than I expected. I was a little like, wait a second. Wait.
Who he was hooping with?
No, say Amon-Ra.
Oh, yeah, well, he's not.
He looks a little shorter.
You got to think, all these guys that are listed, if he's, what is he listed at, 6 foot?
Maybe. Let me look it up.
So he's probably, I'm going to be honest, whenever you see a height, you probably knock an inch off of it. He's probably 5'11", 5'10".
I was just shocked, dude. He's 6 foot. So he's like my height, essentially. So me and him are basically, I saw it and I was like, dude, I thought he would be a little bigger. But he's just more so, he's a quick guy. He's quick. He's got the speed and he's,
Yeah, and again, he can play. He was cooking wherever that was. And now I did see this as well, and you sent me this. This is 33rd team. Kind of going through some players in the NFL, guys that were rookies, and they can play as well, but guys that they think could potentially end up in a sophomore slump. And I think you guys are going to be shocked who they had listed on this list, and that was Lion Sam Laporta. He was on this list. You see it, 33rd team, sophomore slump candidates via Marcus Mosher. He put Jordan Addison, Devon Achane, Kobe Turner, and Sam Laporta. I don't know how you end up with Kobe Turner. I kind of do. Actually, Devon Achane would probably be one that I'd be like, okay, maybe I don't agree with that. I think the offense that they're still in is going to be fine.
Yeah.
Jordan Addison and Kobe Turner, I do understand because, if you're trying, not that I agree with it,
though.
Not that I agree with it, but if you're thinking of it from Marcus's perspective, he's going, okay, you had Aaron Donald there last year. You don't have him this year. So how is that going to maybe affect his play? I get that. Not that I agree with it, but I understand it. Jordan Addison, you go from Kirk Cousins to Sam Darnold. I understand that philosophy a little bit.
Yeah.
But Sam Laporta? What are we doing? Devon Achane, what are we doing?
The Sam Laporta thing, first of all, the thing with that one, there's no way Sam Laporta. He is one of the best. He's all pro, second team all pro. The offense essentially runs through the running game and then tight ends and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like the tight end position in Ben Johnson's offense is a big deal. Even when like TJ Hawkinson got traded last year, do you remember the three tight ends there, Brock Wright and those guys who combined for like the most touchdowns ever in Detroit Lions history for a season from tight ends? So like the tight end position in the Lions offense is going nowhere. Dan Campbell played tight end. Ben Johnson was a coach of tight end. Like this, guys, this Sam Laporta is going nowhere when it comes to that. Nowhere. He is going to probably have a 1,000-yard season with 8 more touchdowns, and he's going to be in consideration for another all-pro season in his second year. The Jordan Addison thing, Jeff, I get that because Justin Jefferson was out for 7 or 8 games last season. So Jordan Addison was kind of that wide receiver one for half of the year. And you're bringing in a rookie quarterback with JJ. So I do get that one. Can I throw a name out there that might surprise some people? But I think
go ahead.
And I don't think it's like a slump because this guy had such a good year last year. I just think when you see the year he had last year, there's a chance he does take a step back. And it's going to be weird, and I hope people don't hate it, but I think you could argue maybe Puka Nacua in Los Angeles doesn't do what he did last year. Because you got to think he had 1,500 yards and like 110 catches and like 8 touchdowns his rookie year. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to do that again, but if I was going to look at any of the rookies from last year, and I went down the list of a lot of the guys, and I was trying to figure out like who can take a big step back. And there wasn't that many like big time rookies besides like Laporta, Puka Nacua, Jordan Addison, like some of those. Puka had 1,500 yards. Maybe there's a chance that like he goes out there and if he gets 1,000 yards, that's still great, but that's 500 less than he got last year. And 80 catches instead of 100. That's the only one to me to where I could truly put up there and say maybe there's a chance he goes out there and gets 1,300. Like 1,500 is a lot. That's a lot. That's a big season. That's like not a joke at all. So that's the only thing to me. And I don't even think that's a regression either. If you go out there and he gets 1,200 yards, like it's like 300 less than last year. Do you see what I'm coming from with that point?
Yeah. I mean, in terms like statistically, I think
statistically,
you look at what he's doing this offseason. I mean, he stopped eating McDonald's, funny enough. Like he's changing his entire diet, which if you guys watch Ocho and Shannon, Ocho is very displeased with that. He thinks eating unhealthy. His argument is he's been eating McDonald's his whole career and he never gets injured. So, but Puka's not eating McDonald's. He's eating healthier. He's working out with Cooper Kupp. So, in terms of like statistics, maybe, but
yeah, I guess it's not a regression though, too. Like,
regression. Weird. It's like if we're going off statistics, I'll throw this up. All right, and we'll get to the Lions rookies in a second. But real quick, just around the NFL, maybe Tank Dell. I think Tank Dell maybe regress a little.
That's actually a good one.
Not that because he was hurt. So, but what I mean is opportunities won't be there. I don't think as much as they were last year with Stephon, Nico, and now Tank Dell. He does get pushed down a little bit, and the man was shot. I mean, and he's dealing with an injury, so he had a crazy offseason too. But again, is that regression? I don't know.
That's where
maybe statistically, but it's not like Tank had like 1,200 yards, so. I don't know. Regression, it is hard to predict sophomore slumps.
I want to know too. That wasn't me saying that wasn't Puka slander. It was more so that he is very, very good. And it's just, hey, if you have a 1,500 yard season your rookie year, you just set the bar very, very high for yourself. That's like Amon-Ra St. Brown just did that in his third year. So you just set the bar up there for yourself to where now if you don't get 1,500 yards, I'm not going to say it's a disappointment, but you've gotten there before as a rookie and you expect to kind of get better to where if he goes out there this year and gets 1,200, okay, it's maybe not a regression because you still have 1,200, 1,100 yards, but hey, you did take a little step back there. And I'm sure Cooper Kupp's going to have a big year out, you would think. I don't know. I don't know if that's considered regression or not, though, going from 1,500 to 12.
You talk about the bar he set. I mean, he had more yards than Justin Jefferson. That's who previously had the most yards, 1,400 in 16 games. And of course, Puka was 17 games, but still about 1,500 yards. And Justin is one of the only ones who top that. Like he
Yeah.
went from 14 to 16. Like and maybe Puka.
And a lot of people saying Puka's going to get 1,800. To me, like, yeah, Puka's a really good receiver. That's a lot of yards. That's a lot of yards, man.
Yeah.
That's great. Like I would have Tyreek Hill's been chasing 2,000. He's been chasing the Kelvin Johnson thing. Like, you guys are acting like Puka's going to go out there. Puka was really good, but there's going to be one. He's going to have a season here or there throughout his career that's going to be a little lower than 1,500. He just set the bar so high. That's where I'd like instant when I thought regression. I'm like, all right, who had the best seasons last year? You could say Laporta, but Laporta, he didn't even have 1,000 though. So to me, it's like he didn't even hit 1,000 yet in his career. Puka went out there and had an all-pro season instantly, 1,800. So that's the interesting part to me.
Well, you look at the Lions rookies. You have Sam Laporta.
Yep.
You have Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yep.
You have who won't regress is Antoine Green, because it's going to be hard to regress. I'll tell you that.
Branch.
But you have Brian Branch. And you have those are really the guys you'd look at. Jack Campbell. What kind of regression for him?
Do you think there's a defensive player like Will Anderson or Jalen Carter who could take a step back?
See, it's in my opinion, it's tougher to go with defensive players because but you can say that for both sides of the ball. But I think the game, once it slows down for those guys too, it matters. But also the situation they're in, that's really what matters more than just only the game slowing down. Like, obviously, we brought up the Kobe Turner thing. You don't have Aaron Donald. Maybe the numbers go down a little bit. But Will Anderson just got Daniil Hunter and Danico Autry. Like, dude, he's going to have a lot of one-on-ones.
Or maybe.
And Jalen Carter, that defensive line's always good. And the back end's now better. They can stay in coverage for a little longer. So
Fangio now there.
So I don't know. I mean,
you have dogs.
But when you look at like the Lions, like
it's tough.
Jack Campbell, for example, like I think the game is just going to continue. He didn't get a ton of he got opportunity last year, but he had Anzalone, he had Derek Barnes also kind of playing. He kind of played that Sam linebacker role a little bit. But I don't think he'll regress because it's like there's not much. He only can get better to me, Jack Campbell. So
yeah, where can he regress to?
Yeah, if he regresses, that's like worst case scenario in my opinion. I don't think he will. And then Brian Branch, it's like maybe, but Brian had such a great rookie year. Maybe he set the bar extremely high. I don't know.
That could be. But I think Brian Branch. I just can't see Brian Branch regressing. I can't see it. Well, the Tank Dell one's a good one. I think that actually might end up being the best one. Is Tank Dell. I honestly do.
The reason why I brought up Brian Branch, it's not that I think he'll regress, but we got to think like Justin Simmons. When we talked about him, his first year when you did the player A and B, one thing I noticed about Justin Simmons is when you look into his second year from his rookie year, he had a great rookie year. His second year was kind of similar, if I'm not mistaken.
So his rookie year?
Yeah, his rookie year and second year, he started more games and had kind of a similar year. He had more tackles. Like doubled the amount of tackles, but he still had 2 interceptions. Still he had a sack from the prior year. So I could see Brian not regressing is bad, or maybe the wrong word, but if he does what he did this year, I'm happy. That's a good year.
I agree. I don't think that's regressing. I think that's like
that's a good year.
Yeah, and you would think too that he has more tackles. The only thing that if it's the same as like takeaways, if that's 3 again this year, I think you're perfectly fine with that, honestly, because a lot of those guys in All Pro, they had 3 or 4 takeaways. That's about it. So if you just go out there, do what you did this year, and just do it at a little bit of a higher level, I'm happy with it. Stay healthy and go out there and make plays. I'm interested to see that. I don't know if anyone on the Lions, any of these rookies, would regress. Gibbs didn't.
Sam, I don't know. I don't think he would.
Maybe like touchdown wise, you can maybe say Sam, because what did he have? 8 or 9?
Yeah, he had damn near double digit.
He might have had 10 throughout. To be honest, with the playoffs, he might have had 10 plus.
Yeah, he had 10 touchdowns in the regular season.
In the regular season, and he might have had more with the playoffs. So if you're looking at it like that, maybe with that. But when it comes to yards, like again, I'm with you, and I think you were the one that said, I can't remember who it was. I think Sam Laporta goes out there and gets 1,000 this year. I think you see him get 1,000. I don't know how many catches did he have this year? Did you have the stats pulled up still?
Yeah, he had 80, almost 90 catches, which is
you might see him get over. you might see him get to 100 with 1,000 yards, and I think that's not a shock, and like 5 or 6 touchdowns, if not even more. Like the only regression I could see would maybe be touchdowns. But again, he's such a good yards after catch tight end that those touchdowns are going to come. It's kind of like George Kittle a little bit.
That's the thing when we talk about Jameson having like a big year. I think a big year for JMO, and to me, like I would take little over double what he had this year. If he had like 700-800 yards, I think that I'm fine with that. Because you got to understand, like Amon-Ra is going to get 1,600 yards. And then you have Sam Laporta, who is a 1,000-yard tight end.
Yep.
Like I think Sam Laporta, man, could eventually be maybe like a 1,200-yard tight end. Like he is like he's a weapon. He just is. So I don't know if JMO you can't a 3,000-yard receiver. It's happened under 10 times in NFL history. Like it's just not. And then you're gonna have a 1,000-yard back, possibly 2. Like it. We gotta take a deep breath here.
Can we just like think about this real quick? Because I'm interested in this in that scenario. Then real quick, I know it's a little off topic. How many yards did Jared Goff throw for? Over 4,000.
Yeah, he had
4,500.
I'm gonna get you. I'll get you the exact numbers.
He threw for 4,500. So he threw for 4,500. So let's find 4,500 yards. Amon-Ra 1,500. Laporta 1,000. Let's say JMO 700. And I think what a lot of people are forgetting is Khalif Raymond. To where if Khalif Raymond plays a full year,
I think DPJ is good for about 500.
I think you could say let's just be a little on the cautious side here. Let's say DPJ and Khalif Raymond 400 each. I think that's if they stay healthy. I think that's perfect.
What do we at
How
now?
many do we say Jahmyr Gibbs?
You got to give him 300-400 again.
Let's go 300, and we'll just go like 100 for D-Mont or other players. Let's do this. Let's do 150 for other tight ends and other wide receivers. Is that fair? And
there you go.
So let's see, 1,500 plus 1,025. I'm gonna have to do this math over here real quick. Hold on, give me a second over here, brother.
Yeah, and you got to also take into account the catches because Jared had last year 400 completions. So, but that's a whole nother thing. Like you got 100 catches for Amon-Ra, 100 catches for Sam Laporta.
To be honest,
that's already half the completions right there.
Jeff,
what?
This number here that we just did out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change one number on this to make it actually a nice.
I think Gibbs goes for higher than 300.
All right, let's give Gibbs. Let's just go 350 for Gibbs, and let's add another 50 to the miscellaneous guys to 200. Because D-Mont last year, if you really look at it, D-Mont had 117, and then DPJ had 60. Craig Reynolds had 50. Marvin Jones 35. Khalil Dorsey 30. James Mitchell. So let's just go 200 there. Let's add another 100 on there, and we'll add another 50 on Gibbs. Guess what that is? That's 4,600 yards right there. You're essentially right at where Jared Goff was last year. That's basically right on the mark.
See, that sounds about right.
And I think that's perfect. I think that's exactly how you see the ball spread around there.
Yeah, I think I think we just nailed it there. Because he'll probably throw for given he stays healthy he's good for almost 5,000 yards again. So yeah, and we're not taking into consideration maybe there's an injury, so other guys are going to benefit. So there's that, and that's the offensive lines they spread the ball around. Like that's how they play. Dave says PFF just had some analytical stat on Branch that he had the highest impact grade for a DB in the NFL last season. I believe his peers voted him a top 80 player overall last season. Yeah.
Spot on.
Those Bama DBs, man. It's they're not all great, but a lot of them are great.
There's no regression too. He's just going to keep getting better.
Yeah,
I'm happy they didn't. I'm really mad that PFF had Sam Laporta on that graphic. I think that's a little disrespectful. Because the thing is Sam Laporta was all pro, correct? Why aren't you going to put a Puka on there if he was an all pro? What are you just doing? Just trying to take what are we doing here? He had 850 yards. He's going to get 1,000 this year. He didn't show any. And I thought about this too when you send the graphic, Jeff, and we put it in the prep. There's times in a rookie season, I don't know how you feel about this, when a guy's going off like Sam Laporta, and you just keep thinking in your head, all right, when's the rookie thing? Like, when's it gonna hit? When's he gonna struggle a little bit? Like, there's gonna be something's gonna happen. There's no way he does this whole time. No way he does what he's doing all year. And he just kept getting better and better and better. There was no stop. Like, he just kept getting better as gone. And then even in the playoffs on a hurt knee, he just kept getting better. So when you see a guy like that, you see there's no negatives within the offense he's in. I think it's kind of embarrassing for them to have that on there.
Well, I saw I saw this comment here. Here's Johnny, bold prediction, Goff greater than 5,000 yards.
Well, did you say that? Or is he saying that?
Here's Johnny.
Here's Johnny said that? Okay.
Yeah.
No one, I'm going to throw this out there. No NFL quarterback last year threw for 5,000 yards.
Well, Robin's Nest, thank you for the 3-month Crunch Time membership. She says, for everyone to, or I believe it's he or they, Robin's Nest, for everyone to eat good, Goff will need 6,000
really
plus yards and 55 plus. This is a team effort. Not everyone will feast, but all will eat. Well, okay.
There's been 3 quarterbacks in the last 3
All
seasons to throw for 5,000. Not one quarterback in the last 3 years has thrown for 6,000. That might be a record.
Let's think about this for a second. Okay. Let's just think about it. You have Peyton Manning all time in 2013. You guys remember that season? 5,400, almost 5,500 passing yards. You have Drew Brees, 5,400, actually 5,476. Tom Brady, 5,300 yards. Patrick Mahomes, 5,250. He did it in 2022. Like, it does not happen often. It just does not. I think the last person, I guess the person that you look on this list and see that they did it, and it wasn't someone that's like a Hall of Fame player, or maybe someone that's in like a different class. You have Jameis Winston threw for 5,100 in 16 games, but that was the season he had 30 interceptions. And then you have Justin Herbert, who did it in 2021. When he almost threw 40 TDs, and he had 5,014 yards.
15 times ever in the NFL.
It just doesn't happen.
You know what the shocking one is, Jeff? Jameis Winston did it.
Yeah, I just said that.
Oh, did you? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was looking at the list.
And you got to think the offense won't allow. If he's throwing for 5,000 yards, what's happening to the run game?
Yes, that's a problem at that point.
Like, what are we doing? I mean, that would be probably more concerning to me if he throws for over 5,000.
I think 4,500 to 4,600, just like last year. I think it was like 4,550 or something. I think just right around that number is perfectly fine. 44 to 46. I think that's like a fair number. You better be running the ball with D-Mont and Jahmyr Gibbs with that offensive line. That's a problem if you're not. That's an issue.
Because Dave Montgomery's going to get his. He's going to get his 800 to 1,000. Gibbs 1,000. Like, you gotta. No. I don't think in this offense with 2 potentially 1,000-yard backs at any occasion, you're not throwing for 5,000+. It's just
don't forget what's Jared Goff best at too, Jeff?
Play action. You got to get the run game going.
Got to get the run game going.
Yeah, got to get it going.
You're not just gonna sit back there and shotgun and just keep throwing and throwing and throwing.
I don't think Ben and Dan wouldn't allow. They wouldn't allow that. Adam says Lions are built to play with the lead. Tire teams out physically, pound the rock, kill teams on play action. There you go. Well said.
Get a quick lead, run the ball.
Yeah, and Robin's Nest, and this isn't towards you, Robin's Nest. This is there's people, I saw a couple comments talking about 5,000. So yeah, he's right. He says, geez, guys, that's my point. He ain't gonna do that. We'll have 2,000 plus run/pass from backfield too. Yes.
Facts. Yeah. That's why I think the 2,500 is like essentially what you're gonna see again out of him. I think exactly what we saw last year.
I saw some people talking about Jordan Love potentially regressing.
So, question. I thought the same thing, but he wasn't a rookie. It was his first season starting. If I considered him a rookie, I would put him on that.
Oh, you would?
I think he's good to where you could see something, but you typically see, and remember, I had this not argument with you, but we had this discussion a couple times now in the last few weeks, but we spoke about it. There's a lot of quarterbacks in NFL history who have one good year and then they regress. I'm not saying Jordan Love's going to do that, but to me, last year he had a big time year, and you know who you could say regress actually, because he had such a good year last year as well? CJ Stroud. I don't think he will, because now you had Stephon Diggs, you still have a good football team. But again, if we're just looking at team players that had big time seasons last year, that's a potential.
But I love this Broski Bear. Jeff exaggerates everything. He said Laporte had 90 receptions when he had 86.
I think he said almost 90. He
Yeah,
basically had
I
almost
did
90.
say almost 90.
There was
Thanks
a
for that,
term in
Booner.
there. Yeah, there was a term
He
in there.
said that Goff was close to 5,000 yards again when Goff threw for 75 yards last season.
Well, no. He said Booner can't add. No, I can add. I literally added it with the calculator, and I got 4,600 with the receiving.
Yeah, he's
numbers.
just a troll. I love it.
Love trolls.
Well, according to Cody Benjamin of CBS Sports, Jordan Love, they don't think he'll regress because he is currently a top 10 quarterback. And you see the list. Patrick Mahomes comes in at number 1. Just okay. Number 2 is Brock Purdy, which this whole list is immediately discredited
with Brock.
Throw it in the trash. It's over. But we'll keep going because it's great for content. Number 3, Josh Allen. Number 4, Joe Burrow. Number 5, CJ Stroud. Number 6, Lamar Jackson. Number 7, Jalen Hurts. I think Brock Purdy comes like right here, to be honest with you. Number 8, Dak Prescott. Number 9, Justin Herbert. Number 10, Jordan Love. Can't believe Justin Herbert's under Dak Prescott. That's a whole other thing. It's so bad. And then we'll get to the you don't see here on this list Jared Goff. So that's probably your question. You're like, well, who's Jared Goff? Well, I'll tell you. Let's pull up the next list, and we'll get to the back half of this list, which is 11 to 32, essentially, or most of the list. Here, check this out. Aaron Rodgers comes in at 11. Tua Tagovailoa comes in at 12. Jared Goff at 13. You have Kirk Cousins at 14. Trevor Lawrence at 15. Matthew Stafford at 16. He should be higher, definitely.
Yes.
Deshaun Watson at 17. And after that, it's whatever. I don't really care at this point.
Will Levis, 22.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, the last, whatever, you can debate all that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think the first, 17 is there's some things that are just completely awful.
Stafford at 16, insane. You could argue, I don't know, like Jared Goff, you can argue can go in the top 10. Same with Aaron Rodgers. You can make that argument coming off an injury. Maybe you want to see, but I think Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford should be higher. I don't know if that's just me.
Well, yes, I
would take both of them over Tua.
And the thing here, I mean, it's what the hell? And I got to watch here, and we'll get to the Jared Goff thing in a second, because that is also just absolutely, I think Jared Goff should definitely be higher. He should be in the top 10. So I'll say this though. How do we get to Brock Purdy at 2? What happened? Did Joe Burrow and Josh Allen just medically retire or just lose, I don't know what, their hands or their feet? Like, what happened? There is no way on God's green earth that Brock Purdy is a better quarterback than, I don't know, probably the first 8 guys on that list. There's no way. And I respect Brock Purdy. Like, to play in Shanahan's system, a lot of respect, a lot of things being thrown at him. You have to be an elite processor, which he is. He's mobile. He can make play. Trust me, he had a great year last year. But if Brock is 2, I think Jared is better than Brock. So what are we doing? Like, you don't think Kyle Shanahan right now would trade Goff for Brock Purdy?
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yes.
He would.
Yes.
In a heartbeat, he would.
100%.
So what are we doing here? I don't. That's where I'm. No.
There's 2 guys on this list to me in the top 10 who I would take out instantly. Number 1 being at 8, Dak Prescott, gone. Should not be on this list. And he's one of those guys, like, I'm not a Dak guy, and I'll die on that hill. Dak just loves to put numbers up and pad the stats when it does nothing for the team. And that's where I'll die on that hill forever. I think Jared Goff goes in before him. Brock Purdy, to your point, Jeff, take him off. I'm taking Jared Goff over him. I'm taking Jordan Love right now with the way we saw out of Jordan Love last year at the end of the year. Throw him in that system. I bet you he's doing the same things. Justin Herbert at 9 and Brock Purdy at 2 is crazy. Justin Herbert's way better than Brock Purdy. Way better.
Yeah, I think Justin Herbert, you could argue he should be right around
before Jalen Hurts. I would put him behind Lamar. I would probably mix
So
and
there.
match my 1 to 6 a little bit more and take Brock Purdy off the list completely and go Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Jackson, Stroud, and then I would go probably Herbert. And then after that, I don't even know. The Jalen Hurts thing, to me, it's still up in the air. Because you remember like a year ago how high I was on Jalen Hurts when we had that MVP conversation and then he got hurt?
Yep.
I was high on Jalen Hurts, but this last year, what we saw the second half of the season, you start to see a little bit, and maybe this is just my eyes watching, but the weapons he has does help him out a lot. And yes, he is mobile. He's able to make plays. He's a playmaker. He does have a lot of weapons around him. So I would keep him in that 7 to 10 range, in my opinion. That's what I would do. And then obviously you have to have Jared. I don't know how Jared Goff isn't in this. I don't get how he's not topped. It feels very disrespectful at that point, to be honest. Who is this guy? Cody? From Cody.
Yeah,
It
Cody
seems
Benjamin. This is
disrespectful.
this is like almost discrediting like yourself. Like to even put this list out, you discredit yourself, in my opinion. Because there's no way you can say that Brock is better than Joe Burrow and Josh Allen, CJ Stroud, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert. So Dak Prescott, you can argue that. But everyone else, no. Absolutely not. I think Justin Herbert, to be honest, and I saw Adam put his list, and I want to put this up and because he said correct top 10, Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Herbert, Lamar, Stroud, Hurts, Goff, Purdy, Love. The only thing I would change, and I know you disagree with the Burrow and Allen thing, so you'd probably swap.
To be honest, I think it's one of those things when you're at that top 4, it's all interchangeable.
I don't hate that. I would put let's see. Yeah, I would put Goff in front of Purdy and Love right now because I just don't know how if 1 year you can just immediately put Love over Goff. I think there's still a year or two. Well, the league has a whole year of tape on him. Let's see. Let's see. And when you have a great year like that, you have to come back and he has to play extremely well. So I do think I like Love and I think there is upside there, but he has to go prove that. I don't think he's just earned to be better than Goff already. I'm going to put Herbert. I'll probably swap that Herbert Lamar Stroud thing. I'm struggling with. There has to be a change.
I would put Herbert at the back end of those two just because of last season. He was hurt. I think Herbert's really good. And I think if he has a full season this year with Harbaugh and that whole offense, I think he's going to make a jump. Yeah. As of right now, I think what we saw out of Herbert last year, he's great. I just think CJ Stroud and Lamar had big years last year. Can I be honest with you guys? I'm taking Matthew Stafford over Brock Purdy.
Oh, that's not. Yeah, I agree.
So I know Adam had Purdy at 9. I would rather swap out Purdy and put Stafford in that top 10.
Yeah,
from what we saw.
I agree with that. I do.
Because to your point, when you're like, okay, who would Shanahan rather have if he got to pick like for this full season? Books cleared, everything cleared. What quarterback would you rather have leaving that offense? I think he would pick Matthew Stafford 10 times out of 10 times.
And we're talking about still there's other quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers who has to respond off an Achilles. Yep. You have Trevor Lawrence it's been bad. So there's someone that still has potential. There's so many quarterbacks, man, that are out of this list that still I think could be like, again, Purdy had a great year last year, but man, there's still. I bet if you ask John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan right now, and they get to handpick, and you got to exclude like the first top 8 quarterbacks, they would probably take Goff. They would take you take Stafford, man.
100% they
Stafford. They might even. I don't know.
In that system,
maybe not Trevor Lawrence, but maybe so. I think Trevor Lawrence in that system would be really good. So I don't know.
I don't want to get into this with Adam about that because I do see like if you're putting Goff in the top 10, you have to put Purdy. He had a great year. I think he had a fantastic year, but again, it goes back to the point a little bit. I feel like we're discrediting Brock Purdy a lot. Actually, like I'm getting that feeling a little bit. But like to Adam's point, like Adam's a big Kyle Shanahan guy and about how well this offense he runs and the weapons that they have. So you have to put that into you have to throw that in there too. That's how I look at it a little bit. Maybe we are discrediting Purdy a little bit because he did have a big year. If he didn't play bad versus the Ravens and they win that Ravens game, he literally was one game away from winning an MVP. So that there is that side of things as well. So maybe we are discrediting him a little bit. Maybe he should be in the top 10, but it's so tough. It's tough to who are you going to throw out?
To Shift God's point, basing everything off 1 year is kind of tricky too. With Love, I mean Brock Purdy, because that was his first. It was a big year for him. I get that, and he played well. And I don't want to just completely absolve talent from a situation. Be like, oh well, he's in a great situation, so that's why he's playing well. Obviously, Brock Purdy can process. He's still a really good player. But let's be real. We just went through. There's probably, in terms of there's elite and there's very good. I think the very good section of quarterbacks, you can go from 6 to 13. I think it's a big group of good to very good, and Purdy's kind of in there. So it's not like Purdy's this untouchable, respect on his name guy. In my opinion, he's still got to continue to prove himself. Unfortunately, you need a big. It's the same thing with Love. Love had a great year. Obviously, Purdy made the Super Bowl, but you watch that Packers and 49ers game. It was close.
He had a great year. I want to do this then. Let's not even think about would Shanahan rather have Jared Goff. Brock Purdy in this Detroit Lions offense last year. What do they look like?
Yeah, I mean, I hate the hypothetical. I don't know. I think they'd still be good, but think
are they as good?
I think Shanahan. That's the thing. It's a good question because I think Shanahan definitely accelerates his development. I think Ben Johnson could, but Kyle has so much experience with different quarterbacks. It's just not. I don't know. I think it's a good blend between Ben and Jared because he's played so long in the league. That's the thing.
Once you get to 7 to 12, there's just those guys there. There's a handful of guys where you could put these guys in the top 10, and then you went top 10 is so it feels like it's the sacred top 10. When it's dude, you could put so many different guys and flip and flop. I bet you if you asked 100 NFL football fans, the 7 to 12 would have different guys in it every single list you saw. That's where it's at to me.
Yeah,
good thing for the league,
and that's what most people are kind of agreeing. I mean, Jeff Olson says Baker's better than Purdy.
He's a Bucks fan. That's a Bucks fan. That's a Bucks fan. Remember that.
That's where you lose me. To be fair, Jeff. That's a fellow Jeff, but that's where you lose me.
Bucks fan.
I would take Purdy over Baker. I don't think it's there's a huge gap, but I'm taking Purdy over Baker. We saw Baker. We got to watch him, and so twice actually. Lions fans did not look great.
So I get Adam's point here that he essentially had the same stat line as Jared Goff, but I think where you start when you get so close and you start, okay, we have to move some of these guys from the 8 spot to the 10 spot to the 12 spot. Where are we going to put these guys? You're sitting there. It's all right. What's the difference? Who's in a better situation? One guy had Kyle Shanahan and a stacked offense. I mean, I know our offense is just as good. And we have all these all pros, but again, it's the Kyle Shanahan thing.
No, you
plug and play.
Goff, tell me the MVP Goff had on his team. I'll wait.
Yeah, I mean, Christian McCaffrey was literally in the MVP race.
I don't want to hear that. McCaffrey should have won MVP in my opinion.
It's a plug and play situation there in San Fran, and I think it's well known.
Not just that, but you have the second best head coach in the league. So again, if we're going off situation, it does help, obviously. But that's why I don't like this stats comparison thing. I don't. And again, Goff has Ben Johnson, great. He doesn't have the defense that I don't know. What were the 49ers points allowed last year? Scoring defense. It was insane.
That's another great point.
They were giving up 17 points. And they were getting the ball back in pretty favorable positions. And then you have Christian McCaffrey, who was getting 150 yards a game and should have won MVP.
Give me Jared Goff. I don't care about Brock Purdy.
So,
give me Goff.
It's not. We're not. I don't want to make this an argument Goff's way superior. But yeah, if you're taking Brock over Goff, I don't know what to tell you. You're on an island there. But let's welcome in our guest. It is Wednesday, and therefore we welcome in John Maakaron. host
Legend.
of the Detroit Sports Podcast, and of course, publisher of All Lions. John, how you doing today? Welcome to the program.
Man, fellas, I'm blessed. I hope you guys had a chance to spend the 3 hours Sunday night watching the roast of Tom Brady. It was legendary. Things were said that were not supposed to be said. It harkened back to the reason why I started a podcast, the freedom to talk shit. That 3 hours was a shit talker's dream. It kicked off a great week. Now I'm listening to the debates about Jared Goff. I'm feeling good. Man, no more PC. Real comedy's back. I think people are pushing back on the cancel culture, and I love it because that is what has made me successful, is taking charge of my own destiny and starting a podcast and talking shit about Detroit sports in an unfiltered way. And now if that's coming back, man, it put me in a good mood. You know what we're drinking tonight? It's the Fireball.
Oh, no one had it.
Oh, shit.
I swear.
It's good times in Detroit ahead of rookie mini camp. I'm feeling good. This weather just puts me in a great mood. What are we talking about today, fellas?
Well, I swear Doc watches our show the day before when we pick what is Doc going to drink, and he just went off of, he heard all of us and said, I'm doing something way different. I know I'm smart, Doc.
Yeah, and Doc,
what a legend.
We guessed all different things. We weren't close to Fireball, so
no,
hey, that's why the Doc continues to surprise. That's why I appreciate him. But yeah, Doc, I'm with you about comedy. By the way, I love roasts in general. I've caught most roasts on Comedy, well, when it was on Comedy Central, and now it's on Netflix. And I hate the culture that we're in because of the cancel culture. I hate it. You can't make jokes anymore. Everyone's offended. Aaron Hernandez, apparently and by the way, I get it, but when you're doing a roast, nothing's off limits. Welcome to the club. Everyone could be roasted. That's why I love it. But John, can I ask you something? We talked about the quarterback conversation, Jordan Love versus Jared Goff. What should at least Lions fans, because when we talk to Packers writers, it's they're high on Jordan Love. I get it, right? He had a great year, especially his first year starting. But for people to kind of anoint him and just immediately say he's better than Jared Goff, to me, it's a little overblown. I think given the sample size Goff's had in this offense with how well he's playing, and with the quarterback, this division in terms of quarterbacks, there are up and coming quarterbacks. So where's the comp? What would you put the Love versus Goff kind of comparison there? Who's better right now and who will be better in the next 2 years?
Yeah, absolutely. For the chat discussing my taste in whiskey, look, I take whatever's free. So someone brought it to me, so I drink it. I drink it all, baby. I can drink the high-end tequilas, but this was given to me for free. And hey, a little bit of cinnamon taste definitely goes a long way.
Was that a gift from Dan Campbell?
No, Dan Campbell's not gifting me no liquor. That's for sure. He doesn't want the Doc under the influence talking, because the things that I'm going to say, I'll ask some of those different kind of questions that people may not want to be asked in regards to stuff off the field. So it would be very interesting. The fights that he got into or things like that would be fun. But talking about Jared Goff is interesting when you compare him to different quarterbacks and what he brings to the table. But what's a blessing is the Lions crafted an offense for him. Give him a line, a nice look at the first wide receiver they get for him, Amon-Ra St. Brown, a possession receiver who is so adept at running routes and is sure-handed, reliable. He knows exactly where Amon-Ra is going to be. Ball is delivered, it's caught. And so it is interesting to have that debate regarding what Jordan Love in this offense would look like, a Brock Purdy. But when we get a chance to see Jared Goff operate this offense, he's got it firmly under control, meaning that he commands the offense. He understands the preciseness and the ability to now establish guys. Tight ends do not just come into the league and light it up like Sam Laporta. Without Jared Goff, I don't think Sam Laporta lights it up because of the precise nature that the work that they did in the offseason when Laporta was drafted. I think it was a perfect fit, and that's why Brad Holmes drafted him. Now, here's the thing that obviously is debatable. Does Jordan Love have a little bit more arm talent? Yeah. Is he maybe a little bit more athletic? Absolutely. But in the same token, where Jared Goff shines is his experience, knowing opposing defenses, knowing exactly how to address and read different defenses. And so you guys, before I came on, asked what Brock Purdy would have did in this offense. I think he would have excelled, but I think towards those big games, you would have seen what you kind of saw later on with the 49ers, maybe just a little bit more of, some incompletion, some inaccuracy, some turnovers. Look, guys, inexperienced quarterbacks make mistakes. And I think that Brock Purdy probably would have been competitive for the Lions in the postseason last year with this offense, but I don't think they would have got to the NFC Championship with Brock Purdy. Jared Goff has firm command of this offense. And I think where people kind of disrespect him a little bit is clearly his athleticism. And we all understand if you're a defensive coordinator, you're just going to say, blitz the fuck out of Jared Goff and let's see what he can maneuver and what he can accomplish, because his percentages dip a little bit under pressure. But that's the same with every quarterback. But I would take my chances moving forward with Jared Goff for that one special season to win the Super Bowl. Now, I think where people kind of, also want their cake and eat it too, they want Jared Goff to be the reason the Lions win a game. I just would be surprised if that happened. I think the Lions are a collective team, as they should be, but I don't think Jared Goff is going to rise up in the Super Bowl, throw for 400 yards and just carry this football team. I think it's going to be a collection of talent, and it's going to be a complete team effort if the Lions are going to win it, but Jared Goff's a big part of it.
Love that. Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that, Doc, especially when you look at the tiers of the quarterbacks. It's essentially a similar type of player. I want to go to the other side of the ball here real quick, Doc, because we had this conversation on our show yesterday in regards to the D-line. And I know we spoke with you last week about the edges, but the conversation we had yesterday here on our show was the interior with Broderick Martin, DJ Reader, and kind of where Broderick is at in his development, where he's going to be at going into this year, and expectations on that. We kind of got in a back and forth about whether, we were kind of, some of us were concerned on what we saw last year because we didn't see Broderick Martin. And, I was more so on the side of, with Broderick, it's development. We got to give him time. And he, at some point, hopefully he's able to take that step. And the pictures came out of them on the football field that he looked like he slimmed down and he's in shape. He kind of did what Aleem McNeil did. What are your thoughts on this Broderick? You're in the building throughout the year and everything, and especially throughout the season. What was your kind of thoughts on Broderick? And do you think he can take that next step this next season?
Yeah, it's really fascinating to me when I see these rookies come in and their diets. Like you heard Aiden Hutchinson, his rookie year, he said he just ate a bunch of chicken wraps and a bunch of foods that were, obviously clearly to add bulk and things like that. And you saw Aleem McNeil come in. And then in year 2, they tighten up their diet and they eat a lot healthier. You've seen Aleem McNeil tighten up his body. And Aiden Hutchinson in year 2 told us last year that the biggest thing he tightened up was he used some of the money to hire a private chef and handle his nutrition. And these rookies, I know they're in the hotel and they can have access to pizza and things like that. But I just think that part of everyone's development is also eating and taking care of their body right so that they can recover better. The grind of a season is so intense that you can actually, a lot of these guys are going to plant-based diets to try and reduce inflammation, trying to get back out on the field and recover faster. So it's a lot of different ways to take care of yourself, but absolutely. Broderick Martin was probably challenged. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm certain every offseason a player's told, hey, you got to work on this. And I'm certain he was told, hey, let's get in better shape so that you can handle more reps. Because the first year he probably knew he was going to see way less than 15% of total defensive snaps. He knew it was a developmental year.
Yep.
And his first year, you heard what he needed to work on: pad level, fundamentals, understanding leverage, because in certain situations, he was going to be at a disadvantage against opposing offensive linemen. And for the Lions, they need what obviously his strength is going to be is run stopping. But at the same token, they want a complete defensive lineman who can rush the passer, break free, break contain, and work different moves to try and get to the quarterback or break up run plays. So I expect, yes, Broderick Martin will compete for opportunities to play out on the field. And I think it's great that they brought in another defensive tackle. It's great for competition. And you see Broderick Martin can only get better with the linemen that they have on this roster. And I fully expect he's going to take advantage of the opportunity. And he knows, because Lions don't mess around. If you don't carry your weight, you don't meet your objectives, yeah, you can be a developmental player, but the NFL is not for long. If you don't perform when the time is called, then you'll be out of here just that quickly. They'll find 2 or 3 more to replace them. So the window is closing, but Broderick Martin will have his opportunity this year to show what he can do. And I think he'll take advantage of it.
Yeah, Doc, and also we mentioned the you kind of mentioned the Kyle Pecco signing. They brought in another defensive tackle. Tyler Boyd signed with the Tennessee Titans, reunites with his former offensive coordinator on a 1-year deal. We had the conversation again. You'd be proud, John. Booner's starting to come around. He's starting to understand that maybe the Lions like their wide receiver room. Like maybe the doc was right, and maybe there he is. Look at him. See, he's starting to get. Can I just ask you, you think the Lions, aside from maybe bringing in a training camp body, do you think they're out of the Zay Jones more officially? Just they're comfortable with who they have? Because I would tend to lean that way. Zay Jones has not visited with the Lions yet. Where are you at with kind of as we get closer to in a couple months now to training camp?
Yeah, it's that talk. People want that wide receiver. They were disappointed in Tyler Boyd, but look, he went to a spot where clearly he has comfort with a coach that's on the Titans staff. So that takes him out. And I think he was kind of a guy that when you look at it, kind of was on the decline. He might have benefited from being in the Lions system, but he clearly was only going to be the third wide receiver at best. Look, guys, I just think that maybe the opportunity to add a wide receiver could happen when the cuts are made in training camp or post June 1, or a veteran that just really is clearly somebody unhappy that could come in. But I think they're happy. They signed undrafted free agents. They have competition. They have veterans. They have JMO. I just don't think it's a need. And again, you guys know the Lions system. They're kind of adverse. They have to, people, free agents have to meet a lot of criteria in order to come here. And they got to meet, comfort level, personality, contract as well. So I think they're comfortable seeing what Williams has, the undrafted free agent from Illinois. They're comfortable seeing what Antoine Green has. I think it's not a real strong position of need. You have an offense that is going to light it up. You don't need that. You don't need it. It's something that's a luxury. It's always great. But at the same token, I wonder when the trade deadline comes and it's that time to see, hey, do you have a wide receiver you want to trade for on the last year of his deal? Do you make a move? I think that would be the case, is that you look to add to this football team to make it a team that can go over the top. But I just don't see that wide receiver that just screams to me, oh my God, go get him. Maybe it would have been T. Higgins, but I don't. The Lions got an alpha. They got JMO and they got Sam Laporta. So they got some alphas that are going to be competing. So I don't think that they need it. And then again, DPJ is going to get some love and some attention. So I think that there's an opportunity for the competition on the roster already to handle business.
Real quick, Boone, I want to ask, because I saw an article in All Lions. I think Christian wrote it. Basically, it was the Packers writer calling out the Lions. Funny enough, we had somebody, a Packers media member here. Shout out to him, by the way. He was great. You guys can go check out that video. And he came in hot, John. And obviously working in the media, you work alongside a lot of Lions, but you're around. You get to meet other media members. These guys, it's to me, I love it. Me and Booner talked about this. We love different perspectives because we're so used to kind of this cycle of information. We all feel the same, and obviously we have different opinions on certain things, but we're all in lockstep. And then you just have someone from a different market go, nah, fuck that. Like, I don't like anything you guys are doing. Like, what the hell was Giovanni Manu? What the hell was Sione Vake? What'd you think of some of the criticism? I know you brought up the, I think it was Locked On Lions. The article was written about. What do you think of that perspective of people going, Manu? Vake? What's up with that?
I think it's great because people were intrigued by it. Lions fans, definitely a little hypersensitive to comments. I think, of course, the Packers media is going to take the simple approach to say, oh my God, these guys are reaches. These guys are guys that maybe are not as good as others players that the Lions could have drafted. Oh my gosh, you traded a third-round pick to move up to trade a fourth-rounder. It's just unconventional. But in the end, Brad Holmes dunked on all of them. So he can do those things. But at the same token, I love it. I think that there's a natural rivalry brewing with the Packers, and starts with the general manager who talked about the Lions hanging the banner, talking about, oh, we don't do that kind of stuff. And the Packers now are going to be one of the Lions' biggest rivals in the division. So I love it. I love when opposition talks shit. You had an executive, which I thought was one of the best things ever, these anonymous executives. I wonder if it was Bob Quinn. He works with still with the Browns. I wonder if one of these general managers or executives that had a player that they wanted that Brad Holmes took is just like, man, he's borderline arrogant. And they can say these things behind the wall of, quote unquote sources. And it's very interesting to see what people think. And there's still that
Wow.
old school mentality of the trade chart and things like that. But at this point, how are you going to question Brad Holmes? He put together a roster and 3 drafts that are graded pretty well. But the Packers, they should be jealous. They should be hating. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to hate on your opposition. I hate on the guard. I thought the best moment of the draft in which the fan got rewarded by Kirby Joseph was that Lions fan just clowning on the Packers fan. I thought that was the best moment of the draft. And just like everybody says, fuck the Packers and fuck the Bears.
Yeah. Hey, Bob
I love
Quinn, tease Tabor, Jeff Okudah. Go on, Boone.
And we just keep trading up. Brad just keeps trading up over these NFC North teams. So you would hope that some of these other beat reporters around the other states have a little animosity versus Brad Holmes in regards to that. Doc, I want to ask you though, I think it's Friday to Sunday is mini camp here for the rookies, rookie mini camp. What is our just initial question here is just what are some storylines or some things that you're looking for that people can look out for and kind of our listeners can expect out of this rookie mini camp this weekend?
Yeah, obviously, clearly it's not full padded. They're out there working out. What you want to see is you want to see the competition level in these drills. I want to see Terrion Arnold out there moving around, competing against some of the undrafted free agents. I want to see one of the storylines you want to pay attention to is Ennis Rakestraw. How does he acclimate out there? You want to see the undrafted free agents that they brought in, the kicker. What kind of range does he's got from Michigan in Turner? I know people kind of questioning his soft leg. And, soft leg kickers go to Michigan. So I look at it and I say, I want to see, does he I'm just talking a little shit here. It was interesting too. The 49ers drafted the Michigan kicker, and he kind of started to go a little bit wayward. His confidence kind of swayed there in the postseason after a couple misses. So Jake Moody was interesting in regards to his rookie season. I want to see what he does, but the storylines are going to be great. You want to see Manu out there, his athleticism, how he moves around. I think one of the biggest storylines that people want to pay attention to is Sione Vaki and how he's kind of used. Is he kind of a kick returner, special teams? Where is that going on? For me, off the record, I'm going to tempt CJ Moore and see if he wants to bet me how many wins the Lions are going to have this year and see if I can get a couple schmeckles out of him. I'll go the over 10, see if he wants. If I want to test him out, see if he's been compliant with if his habits have changed. We'll see.
Doc's tested him. That's all.
I'll test him. Make
Great
sure.
test.
I'm prone to throw a couple bets out there for fun, but at the same token, at rookie minicamp, I just want to see the opportunity now for the first look at these rookies and the competition level and how do they handle, because guys, these practices are no joke. If they move a certain way that's incorrect, if they line up improperly, they're going to get torn a new asshole. It's life in the NFL. It's an NFL practice. So I want to see how these rookies acclimate to getting yelled at, getting their fundamentals in order, making sure that they can handle everything that they need to. We only get to go out there Friday, so it'll be a busy day Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday we are not out there. So a lot of information will come Friday and Saturday. And then, for me, it was interesting in that Sam Laporta last year, if you just go back and research, his first interviews were great. He was loose. He was himself. He was giggling, having a good time. And then as the season wore on, as he got talked to and kind of got the notice, hey, be more professional, he buttoned up. So you get a chance to see the rookies kind of early on showcase some of their personality before they get into the life in the NFL where they're told, hey, don't talk to Doc like that because he will write about it.
Yeah. No, wait, you got a question, Boone? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up with that with the rookie minicamp. I just want to know, Doc, kind of on your end, now that we've seen this draft class, really, I'm more so looking for outside of Terrion Arnold. I think we already know kind of what he can be and kind of get into that lineup there for the defense. But who are you looking for and who do you think will make the biggest impact out of this rookie class for the Lions going into the season? I know, like, I've been big on Mekhi Wingo, and there's obviously some development guys, but who do you think is going to end up, when it all is said and done come week one, it's going to end up, having an impact on this team?
Yeah, no doubt. It's got to be Terrion Arnold. What's interesting about him, he's coming in with that swagger, like, I want to be a Hall of Famer. He's doing all these interviews, talking about how confident he is. He wants to make an impact I think he's got a chance. And I know people are kind of pushing back. I think he can be a day one starter on the outside. I think he can do some things early on. I think he'll grow and develop confidence. I know life in the NFL is tough, but you hear the way in which he presents himself. I just am intrigued by what he brings to the table. I don't think he's going to go the way of Jeff Okudah because of the fact that there are veterans here that have some talent. Okudah drafted so high and just thrown in a position where it was so crazy that Matt Patricia couldn't get more out of him, being that he was a defensive coach. It was just really mind-boggling. But at the same token, Jeff Okudah was too slow. He's not a press man corner. And now finally the Lions targeted guys that are physical and can compete. And I think Terrion Arnold is going to make plays. I say that, I could feel 3 to 5 interceptions, making a play, and really getting into it quickly because Brian Branch is on the team. I think that he'll have somebody that can help teach him the ropes a little bit faster in terms of, hey, just knowing exactly what Aaron Glenn's looking for. They're going to put him in a position to succeed. And man, I just think that when you look at it, he's set up for success. When you see all the teams that wanted him, I just see a guy that has everything I think the Lions are going to be about. I just don't see a bust with Terrion Arnold. Yeah, it's going to take time. He's going to give up plays, but what better competition when mandatory minicamp happens? I just want to see Arnold against St. Brown and go toe-to-toe with them and see what it's like.
That's a good one.
Amon-Ra don't talk no shit. Amon-Ra don't take no shit, and Terrion probably is not going to take none either. And those battles one-on-one can get very interesting. So I'm very happy to see the competition level across the board get raised. But Terrion Arnold, guys, I think you can get excited about him. He's going to deliver.
I love to hear that.
And John, I want your opinion on this because I think you can kind of hold me accountable if I'm right or wrong here. I saw the Terrion Arnold interview where he was told by the Raiders it was a coin flip to decide him or Brock Bowers. What are we doing here? Like what organization does that? Why on earth would you force the future of your franchise, put the future of your franchise on a silver coin? Like what do we, and I'll parlay that into, can you give me the starting outside corners for the Lions, who you think? But what the hell are we doing with the coin flip thing, John? What are we doing?
Okay, here's the beauty of the English language, which is great. First and foremost, cheers to you guys. You guys are asking great questions. I'm enjoying the time.
Let's go.
I love talking football, love talking about
football, baby.
Yes, football all the time, all day. But here's the thing, the beauty of the English language. That's why we didn't put, if you paid attention to the headline, we didn't put coin flip in the quotes, because here's probably what was said, because I have friends with the Raiders and they asked the general manager or the assistant general manager, and they said, hey, what was this about? And he was like, I can't confirm that. So Antonio Pierce, Terrion Arnold said in a local radio interview, he said, hey, head coach of the Raiders called me and said, hey, it was a coin flip that me or Bowers. And I think the way in which it probably was meant was the Raiders were torn between a tight end that they need to help that offense, to help O'Connell, and Terrion Arnold. And they didn't literally probably flip.
Okay. Just making sure here.
No.
That was where my head went at first, was they were just trying to figure out in between. But the reports just kept coming with the coin. And I was
because the way in which Terrion said it, I think he also, the way in which it was put, probably lost in translation when Pierce he's an excitable coach. He's like, man, it was a coin flip to get you. And Terrion, I think, took it literally. And that's how it kind of came off. But come on, guys. These guys do extensive research. And you know that Brock Bowers is going to be high on a lot of people's board. I do not think the Raiders are that inept, even though they're a franchise that gets a lot of people believed it because of how inept that team has been drafting. But they did not flip a coin. They were torn. Both sides of the fence. And here's the thing that's tough. Cornerbacks take time. I think they wanted, and Sam Laporta impacted a lot of people in the league, knowing, hey, if we get a good tight end, you now have put your offense in an advantage in regards to just how good and how challenging it is for defenses to stop good tight ends. And Bowers is one of them. He's going to have a Laporta-like impact, maybe 600 yards rookie season, have a lot of impact. And I think the Raiders offense is going to benefit from it. But at the same token, the Lions needed that defender. And hey, if the coin fell for the Lions, then it only benefits Terrion Arnold, because he's in the best spot with Aaron Glenn coaching him, with a hungry defense ready to take over with the veterans, and a teammate in Brian Branch. Go, baby. Tails never fails, if that's how it went.
Jeez, thank God. Thanks for the clarity on that, John. Jeez.
That is great. Hey, I just last question here for me, Doc. I this is actually kind of like a chat question because I saw a couple people in the chat asking it. But I know we already spoke about the rookies and Terrion Arnold. Enos Rakestraw. What are your thoughts on him? Where is he going to land in this? Is he going to end up getting some snaps, you think? Or is it just going to be, hey, just go out there and compete and let's see where you go as a rookie here?
Yeah, that's real interesting because of his size. I just don't see him starting right away on the outside. I feel like he's going to catch a role where he'll have some matchup opportunities. I think he's going to compete potentially to have an opportunity on the inside. Also, we'll get some looks at safety as well. He's a really intriguing player when you see the film. Injuries did some things to him, but he competed and fought his way through it to get drafted. I could see why maybe he dropped a little bit, but it's a perfect scenario for the Detroit Lions. He's a talented physical man corner, can do a lot of different things. And I think having the competition too, I think he's going to be a player that's going to be a little bit jolted by the fact that he dropped, not a first rounder. I think that he's going to come in and compete at the highest levels and will benefit from having Carlton Davis and Amik Robinson and having, Terrion Arnold there as well. I think he's going to be a solid contributor. Do I think he's going to be an outstanding starter early on? I think his development might take a little bit longer. But at the same token, when you have depth, then, hey, you don't need to play. Look, he's going to get out there. I think he's going to play probably his rookie year, between 40 and 60% of defensive snaps. His rookie season, he'll steadily increase and he'll have his opportunities to make plays. But everybody you talk to about him says, hey, he's a gamer, he's competitive, and look, early on, when you see that footage of him writing that note saying, hey, 4th grade, 9 years old, writing on a piece of paper, I want to be an NFL player, and hey, Mr. G, I want to come back and honor you if I end up making it. And then you see that photo with the teacher. He's got a good head on his shoulders. And anybody that puts their goals at 9 years old to be an NFL player and then works at it, he said it in that sentence, in that letter. That's all you need to know about that kind of guy. He said, hey, when I say something, I put my word to it. I'm going to compete and do something. And he actually did it. That's a Detroit Lion, baby. And I think he's going to have an opportunity to succeed. And I love the pick, man. Really great opportunity for the Lions to have those two guys on the roster. Enos Rakestraw and Terrion Arnold going to get better together, and two young guys that are expected to grow and develop together in the Lions defense, young guys that can be around for a long time.
And John, one last question for me. And we had this debate, what was it? 2 days ago, I think. We're talking about Jahmyr Gibbs, just the potential. Lucas believes he's a legitimate breakout player for the Lions, and he thinks there's a whole nother level he can get to. And we're talking about putting up big numbers for a guy like him. And we saw it in a smaller sample size because him and David split carries, and it took him a couple weeks to kind of get going there before they really gave him the reins, at least in his own terms, because they had Dave Montgomery. Where are you at with kind of Jahmyr's potential? I think Lucas and Booner are in agreement he's a top 5 running back right now. And so I want to ask you about his potential as a player. Where can he get to? I tend to, it's hard for me to get there because they have Montgomery and because they want to continue to keep him healthy. And I think that's ideal. I think it's a smart way to do it, even though I have my own ideology on when you draft running backs. That's just how I believe. I think if you draft one in the first round, you use him a lot. But they have a different ideology, and I respect it. And I think they're handling it the right way, given they have David Montgomery. But also, two-parter. First part, what do you think about where he can get to in terms of potential? But the second part, and I know this is way too early, and this is super early, but in terms of paying a running back, where are you at personally, John, with that? Because I caught some heat for my thought process and how I don't believe in paying running backs after the rookie contract's over. It just typically does not go well, especially when other positions just matter more to me. Where are you at? 2-part question, one with his potential, but two, kind of handling, I know it's a long time away, but just talking about the future, kind of handling that contract situation, and just you personally with running backs.
Yeah, no doubt. No diddy. I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he's great. I think he's going to be a superstar. You see what he can do out there, like in Alvin Kamara. You see somebody that has the speed, that caught on after the 5th week of the season, that, look, this is a guy you give the football to. I think he's going to be faster, more elusive. He's going to fight for every single yard. And I do think he's going to emerge as a guy that earns a lot of touches. And boy, it's something where you could say, hey, this guy has the potential to be the best running back in the National Football League in regards to being a dual threat option. I think coming out of the backfield, he's going to be crisper. He's going to definitely, I think, really benefit from having veterans on the offensive line. They're going to create big holes for him. Give Jahmyr Gibbs the football, sign him up. If you're a fantasy owner, I think that you can back Jahmyr Gibbs in such a way where, hey, this guy can do something for you for 5 years. Now, when it comes time to pay him, you find somebody else. You go, hey, wait a minute. How do you build a roster? Look, odd men out. It's probably Jahmyr Gibbs and maybe Jack Campbell or somebody else down the road. You can't pay everybody. And it'll be fascinating down the road when year 4 and 5 come in, when it's time, when Jahmyr maybe is going to want some extra cash. Do they give it to him? And I think they're going to probably, if you kind of read between the lines, I think that if Brad Holmes can find, if you get lucky down the road and find that speedy, shifty running back, you can replace the running back spot. So I'm in the same boat you are. If you're going to, the league trend, it's fair to follow that you wear out those young running backs 4 or 5 years in and you move on. Yeah, there are guys getting those contracts, but you wear them out, you give them the football, and by the time they're 26, that's retirement age. That should be the retirement age for running backs in Detroit. Cycle through, baby, and you can get those guys cheaper, maybe even similarly like quarterback down the road.
It's weird though, Doc. Like Christian McCaffrey's like just in his prime right now. It's just weird how that works out.
He is like
the Titans loved Derrick Henry. They loved him. They wouldn't have been where they were without Derrick Henry.
All right. See, the boys it's like vultures, John. They're jumping.
I will say, and I think Booner agrees too. We're not automatically saying pay Jahmyr just off rip. I think if you extend a running back, they got to be a top 3 back in the league and still being able to produce at that for another 2 seasons. That's where I stand on it. If Jahmyr proves that he can get to the Saquon levels, I think even though the Giants were a shithole, Saquon held up his part of the bargain. And I think if he's at a level where you can extend Jahmyr after a franchise tag because they got him on a 5th-year option, franchise tag him after that for 6 years, and give him maybe like a 2-year deal. And if they don't, cool. You still got 6 years out of him. I'm cool with that.
Okay. Now, here's the factor, though. The odds indicate that the body starts to break down if you're a running back, if he's expected to get the expected usage that I would think in year 4, 5, and 6. I think that, those kind of numbers now, it's very fascinating when you look at some of the contracts. The running backs are starting to chirp a little bit saying, hey, pay us. And I just can't see paying Jahmyr Gibbs $20 million plus a year. So I think that if you're Brad Holmes, you start scouring the landscape for those talented running backs. I think it's easier to replace that position than any other out there because of the fact that you can get a free agent as well, maybe in a more reasonable price than what could be expected from the best player. I think he gets a top 5 NFL deal, maybe even a set the market deal based on how he's used. But at the same token, at some point, maybe some of these guys will take less than market value to stay. But though, listen, in the NFL, the opportunities are there for general managers to say, hey, take a max deal and it'll be put to the test with Jahmyr Gibbs. But I'm of the opinion that running backs break down. The numbers bear fruit that after 25, 26, their numbers go down exponentially. Statistics say that. The league kind of has figured that out. And that's why I think that Jahmyr Gibbs, I would be surprised. You can hold me accountable. I would be surprised.
Yeah, you asked
fat cash from Brad Holmes.
I'm going to make sure we hold some people accountable. I'm a guy that holds people accountable, Doc.
Yeah,
I will hold accountability.
5 years from now, I probably would have drank so much I would have forgot what I said.
I'll remind you. I'll remind you guys. You and Jeff. Jeff, you as well.
Doc is spitting. That's what he does, and that's what he does every single Wednesday.
Doc does spit. I will say that.
Yeah, he does.
He does know what he's talking about over there. So when he says it, I believe it a little bit more. No offense, Jeff.
Yeah, it's almost like he runs. I don't know. Like he's a successful publisher. He has a pretty good. I don't know. You guys should check it out if you want to hear more Doc's thoughts and the people around him. Check out All Lions. Link is in the description, and you can check out his podcast, hosted the Detroit Sports Podcast. That is, John. We appreciate you so much. We look forward to Wednesday, and we'll catch you. Good luck this weekend.
Appreciate
or Friday,
you, John.
Thank you, boys. Always check out All Lions. Follow me on Twitter at Detroit Podcast. I always love coming on Wednesdays and filling and talking about football, having a good time. No heartburn. I'm a trooper guy. I went to state, so whiskey is nothing to me. Jack and Coke, boys. Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story for those of you that are like, "Oh, John drinks the shit." Guys, I'm a man of the people. I can afford Don Julio and I can afford any of those things. But when I was at Michigan State, I worked at Rite Aid, and I would drink Boone's Farm, $4 bottle of wine to get wrecked and go walk the streets of East Lansing. I'm a regular guy. I don't need a lot to get messed up. So I'll drink Fireball. I'll drink, Jack and Coke. I don't need to be hitting the high-end bourbons, even though they're in my basement. I'm good. I'm a man of the people. And if you see me don't hit me up with a tequila. Hit me up with a Coors Light and we'll have a beer. I'm a man of the people. And I always enjoy the opportunity to talk shit with you boys. Look, if there's a time when you guys if you boys can grow the thing to 10,000 subscribers, I suggest you hit the shots of whiskey, Jack Daniels, or Jägermeister, and just let it rip. Just, if you want to go back, I think episode 200 or 300 of our podcast, all we did, me and my cousin Adam, with the freedom that we had, was we said, fuck it. We're just going to take shots before the recording and talk a bunch of shit. And that's what we did. And boy, was it funny when we were laughing, having a good time. I think it's fun to let loose and have a good time. And that's what makes it fun. Free-spirited, and that's what I love about you guys. You guys are free-spirited. You're not afraid to hold back, and you're touching on the big topics and even challenging those that have different opinions. So just keep doing it, man. And I can't wait for next Wednesday to break it all down with you guys.
I can't wait to hear about this mini camp. I'm excited.
Yeah, I love Doc, man. Hey, Luke, we got to get Lucas completely just sauced, and then he can type up an article for all lines.
Yeah,
Doc, I'm telling you.
That will be interesting. I'll have to be proofread.
Man,
let me get some tequila and let me type up an article about Broderick Martin and Levi.
Oh, no, you missed that already. No,
he'd go off, John. No.
Absolutely. And one final thought. I'm Team Kendrick all the way. He is slaying.
Yeah, no.
Team
Those
Kendrick.
Crushing. Appreciate you coming on, Doc.
We appreciate you, Doc. We'll catch you.
He's out.
Damn it, I loved him till the end.
When he just leaves like that, it's great.
That comment got me, man.
I think he was tweeting out and putting some stuff out about Kendrick. So he is a shot. Drake won the battle. We're not going to get into that. We're not doing that. Let's not do it.
I don't know how.
We don't need to do all of that.
He held his own. Very
Klotzy, welcome back to the show here, brother. What's up? How you doing over there?
I'm
going to change the subject quick. Klotzy, good to see you.
How are we?
Klotzy was fighting adversity.
Don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Do not want to talk about it. Goddamn.
The best part about everything.
Fucking Wi-Fi. All day until you need it to.
Come on.
The best part is we can see Klotzy backstage here. Just going off, taking his shirt off, just doing everything, just mad about the Wi-Fi. It's for an hour and a half. We just see Klotzy backstage, just freaking out.
I thought you were getting your cut today, Lucas. What happened?
Yeah, that's on top of it. I went to my barber. Usually, because I usually don't have to make an appointment. I just walk in within half hour. I'm out of there. They're fucking closed. Ridiculous on a Wednesday. What are they doing to me? This is getting too long. You see how in the back it gets a little uneven, up here. Yeah. It starts growing in spurts. I got 5 colics on my head, boys. It can't. If it's growing out, it looks. Weird.
You do look a lot different. I'm just going to throw that out.
That ain't Lucas.
Well. I don't like it.
That ain't Lucas. That's just Luke. That's just Luke.
Well, to be fair, you do have the Travis Kelce cut. Travis Kelce. Oh, what's up, Luke? Hey, Luke. Hey, what about this?
Call me Luke.
Hey, Luke. How you doing over there? Luke, how you doing over there?
No.
What a sentence that is. How you? Hey, Luke, you doing good over there, bud?
Don't make me. I don't know, Jake. What are we doing, Jake?
Oh no! Hey, all day Detroit sports. You could go to Lady Jane's.
Hey,
no. I will invest my money into a proper place of cutting hair, a proper place of fine hair. I will not be taking my services to Lady Jane's.
Vision Stealth, thank you for the $5, man. He says, "Do you think Terrion will improve a man coverage? He does allow a lot of separation."
Jeff is a hater on Goff.
Then Jeff is a hater on Goff. Just saying. Okay,
I love those. How they that.
I just fought for Goff, and you agreed over Purdy, but I'm a hater. Hey, it's okay. We appreciate
the donation, Vision Stealth.
Shout out.
And also
profile picture too.
The question about Terrion and man coverage, he does allow a lot of separation. Lucas, what do you think?
I mean, I don't even think He does, but the thing that makes Terrion so good, and even going back with his film, is his recovery and able to stay in phase. Even if a wide receiver does get separation, he finds a way to still get in play to make a play on the ball. So I think, yes, there obviously will be development in that. He's not going to be right away just like a fucking sticky ass lockdown corner on the outside pause, but I think he will one day be a legitimate cornerback one, and his strength is man coverage. So Aaron Glenn, I think he's going to coach him up.
I can't wait to see what Terrion does.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Real quick. I just want to, I mean, I don't like to throw comments up much. What's so funny over there?
Man, I don't know. The man had like 4-word stretches. That was wild, but he recovered. See, that's what Lukas does very well.
I zoned out.
Took it in stride, pause.
I zoned out for a second. I'm not going to lie.
Oh,
Dude, you and I are on the same page with this. You just are pounding the table for Zay Jones.
This is towards Jeff. Klotz, relax. This is towards someone else.
Are you putting up? Oh, you're putting up comments.
I didn't put that up. You put that up. That was not my hands are here.
Throw the challenge flag on that
You're
one.
on Mark. You guys need to listen to Booner more. Boone's making a hell of a point about a wide receiver the other day and 3 dudes clueless. I disagree.
Dudes. 2 dudes. Klotzy's on the side. I don't know who put that up, by the way. That
3 yeah, Klotzy was on your side.
Interesting statement to start, too.
Yeah, well, we by the way, we never said that they wouldn't bring in anybody, but we said they should be more confident who you have, and it seems like the Lions are. They didn't sign Tyler Boyd or Zay Jones yet.
You're a really nice guy, Jeff. You are. Just be more confident in your friends. You should be a lot more confident in the people around you. That's what that felt like.
What?
I don't know.
You don't even know what you're saying.
Yeah,
right now.
I don't even. Man, he didn't know where he was going with that. It's okay.
No. Let's talk about the top 3 impact players. Let's move on from that. I don't know where I was going with that.
Well, top 3. I want to do the top 3 Lions rookies and free agents to make the biggest impact this season, and free agents, newcomers this summer.
I've got a beautiful top 3 list.
Or not this summer, but this free agency period. Booner, you go first, and I'll give my top 3 list. But we'll start with you. Are we doing real quick before I separate these? Are we doing just top 3 rookies, top 3 free agents, or together?
Together. I think
perfect.
when I thought of the segment, I in my head it was more so when you brought in the whole rookie class and the whole free agent class, who's going to make the biggest impact out of the moves that Brad made. That's how I took it.
Great.
So my top 3, I'll start with 3 and I'll go to 1. Number 3, I had Terrion Arnold. I think at the corner, we already know the situation at corner is when Cam Sutton, the situation happened, it was, you do need someone to replace that corner, to add into that room. We know what Terrion is. They tried to move up all the way up to 15 or 16 to get Terrion. They got him at 24. You guys already know how I feel about Terrion, and I think we do. We've talked about it enough. I think he comes in and makes a massive impact. And I think Brad absolutely got a guy, just like the Brian Branch thing last year. My second one that I have here, Kevin Zeitler. Is it Zeitler or Zeitler? It's Zeitler, correct?
Zeitler. Yep.
Zeitler. Kevin Zeitler. I think, and the reason I put him there, and you probably could have gone different ways with this list here, but for me was when you lost Jonah Jackson, your number 1 priority, for me at least, I know you wanted to build that defense, but the number 1 priority and what made this team so great last year was the offensive side of the ball. And yes, if you had a better defense, you would have gone farther and maybe won a Super Bowl. But the offensive side of the ball was why you got to the NFC Championship game. And the start of that was the offensive line. So I think the biggest impact this year, the second biggest impact of the players that they brought in, Kevin Zeitler. I think just adding another basically Pro Bowl guy onto that offensive line to keep your strength. Like, that was such a big signing. I think we don't talk about it enough, and I don't think a lot of people have spoke about it since the signing happened. But that is a massive deal to get a guy like him on that offensive line to replace like a Jonah Jackson type guy. So I think that's going to be a massive, massive deal heading into this year. And then the number 1 to me was on the defensive side of the ball, fellas. I think the corner was a situation. If the Cam Sutton thing didn't happen, that wasn't going to be as big of a need because you traded for Carlton Davis. But the biggest thing I think, and the biggest incoming guy that's going to make an impact, I think it's going to be DJ Reader. And I don't think it might be just for him, but I think it's going to make an impact on Aleem McNeil. It's going to help Aiden Hutchinson. And at the same time, I know we whether we like or don't like the guys on the other side of Hutch with Davenport and Kaminsky and those type of guys, I think what it's going to do, it's going to help those guys out a lot more as well. And it's going to affect the whole defensive line. And when it does that, it helps out the secondary. DJ Reader will be an absolute game changer for this whole team. It's going to elevate Aleem. It's going to elevate. Hopefully, we can see a Broderick Martin get elevated from it. Just all across the board, I think that was the biggest part or piece on this defense, and he's going to make the biggest impact for this team. I think out of all the signings that you brought in, I loved the DJ Reader signing. That was probably the biggest one that we had.
So my toughest part of this list is factoring in a rookie because when you combine free agents, and actually, no, I disagree. I think Carlton Davis is a bigger impact because
I forgot.
Arnold,
I didn't even think of that because they traded for him. How can I be that dumb?
Yeah,
didn't even think of Carlton.
I think you had a
year one
that I didn't think about was Zeitler, which I really like that pick. So I think that would be off mine. But continue, Jeff.
That's why we all have our own three, so we can take each other's ideas and talk a little.
And this is I couldn't, and I love Terrion. I do. I couldn't put him as my top three. This is why I was thinking maybe because I didn't have a rookie on here because again, you have Terrion and Ennis Rakestraw who are going to be fighting for that CB2 spot behind who? Carlton Davis, who's a legitimate CB1. He's not, Sauce Gardner or one of the best corners in the league, but he's someone that legitimately you can throw at number one wide receivers. And they didn't have that last year. So in terms of making an impact, Carlton Davis to me is number 2. I have him as 2. I think just the need for a number one corner it was so important. And they got that in Carlton Davis, at least for this year. And if they want to re-sign him, great. If not, Terrion hopefully can take over and be your CB1. I just don't think you can make the argument that Terrion as a rookie, as a corner, which corners the second position in football behind quarterback, the hardest position to play, unless he's Sauce Gardner, which maybe he can be, but I don't think he will be.
I love that choice, Jeff. I love that.
I'll go Carlton Davis 2. I know I went out of order, but just to address the corner point. 3, I have Kevin Zeitler. So I am with you. I have him as 3. And then 1, I have DJ Reader. I don't think how you can have anyone else but DJ Reader because of not only the player he is, the caliber of player, but what it means to have a guy like that. It upgrades your defensive line, which by default, fellas, upgrades your secondary. He immediately makes everybody better. So he has to be 1 to me. But I have Carlton Davis 2 and Kevin Zeitler 3.
You both left off Sion Vaki, the guy who's going to play on all 3. I'm kidding. I
was about to leave the show. I was about to leave the show.
He plays all 3 levels. Terrion's only going to play defense.
No one else is doing that.
You want an impact? No, but and being real, I do like both you guys' lists. There's nothing I dislike about him. I think it's all preference. But for me, I'm going to keep Terrion at 3. I think Terrion, he's going to be the cornerback 2. And when you look at this division specifically, I think if you look at all the other NFC North teams, there's legitimate wide receiver 2s to go along with that. And I think with Terrion, with his intangibles later on in the season, especially when you talk about week 15, 16, 17, I think that's when the game's going to really slow down for him. You'll see come into form. So I think when you talk about having him and Carlton Davis, who's my number 2, so I think both of these cornerbacks I have at 3 and then at number 2, just because if you look at how bad the Lions secondary was last year. I mean, I know that Carlton Davis is there, but when you add Terrion Arnold there, it's a legitimate cornerback room that I think has Pro Bowl potential over the next 2 years out of both of them. So in year 1, those are my 3 and my number 2. And the number 1 to your guys' point is DJ Reader. There's no way that you can leave him off there. The reason why I left Zeitler off there is because I feel like, yes, he's a guard, but there's also 3 other legitimate offensive linemen. You can say 4 with Graham Glasgow. Outside of Carlton Davis, I don't think there's a true legitimate. I like Amik, but am I comfortable putting him outside of quarterback 2? No. Am I comfortable doing that with Terrion? Week 1, yeah, probably I am. So that's the only reason I probably have Zeitler at 4 and Terrion at 3.
Impact-wise, would you, if you didn't bring in Zeitler, throwing out Colby Sorsdale?
That's fair, but I think overall, the offensive line could compensate, just like how they did. They had Yodi out there in the NFC Championship game, and you really didn't notice. The game when Jonah Jackson was out there, yeah, the line didn't look the same, but it's not like the line was getting thrown around. I think if you take out Carlton Davis and or Terrion Arnold, the cornerback 2 is going to get exploited. You muted it.
We need to have a something for when a punishment for when you do you can't just go off on a tangent.
I do it for the betterment of the show, so there's no back. I don't want background noise or
for the betterment of the show. That is funny. I mute myself all the time. 10 times a show. I just
okay, all right.
See these glasses? That means lock in, Jeff. You better. Oh, that's I thought that was outside of my head.
Well, you know what? You can't boo the point Lucas just made, because I agree with him. It's not that Kevin Zeitler isn't one of the best guards in the NFL, which, of course, it's going to improve your offensive line. But that's why I put him at 3, because he definitely helps Boone, but he's making the number 1 offensive line number 1.
Yeah, but he's going to make an impact.
You will, yes.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm talking like how bad the secondary was to what now, and how bad this defensive line was to where it's going. You know what I mean? You get the thought process on that? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just. You know what? I'm gonna throw a red flag out there. I forgot about Carlton Davis. I'm gonna throw a red flag on you guys. I did when I made the segment. I said free agents and rookies. I didn't say trades. No trades. Not
what? That was in free agency.
Let the chat decide that.
Look in the chat.
Listen.
Listen. Hear me out. The chat can decide all they want in the prep
acquisition.
Let's look at the first text message I sent for the segment. I said free agent / rookie.
See now, like you had a great list. Now you're just tearing it down for no reason.
Let the chat decide.
You could have just not said anything about Carlton Davis, and your list would have been perfectly fine. I loved your list.
Look at him. He don't like that. He didn't like. Yeah, he didn't like your answer. He didn't like your.
No, I don't care. I mess with you guys. I don't really care. I thought that was great. I actually would, if I redid my list, I probably would put Carlton Davis at 3. That was just personally, just because I do think he will. Like, I think for being honest, Carlton Davis
behind
is probably
Terrion.
What?
In front or behind Terrion?
I would move Terrion to 4, and I'd put Carlton at 3, just because I think Carlton.
So you take Terrion off?
Yeah, just saying at CB1, that's gonna be your guy. He's gonna be the one that's lined up against the wide receiver ones, and he's proven it in the NFL. You're bringing in an impact player who's already proven. Terrion, I think, can get to that point, and I think he has the skill and everything to do so. It's just more so Carlton's already done it. So you're bringing in a guy with that type of, with that moxie. I like that.
That moxie.
ECL said Booner, no, he didn't say Booner. He said Boner. You need to be more flexible, bro. That's a little too technical. It was a joke, boys. Sometimes people can't take jokes.
Boner. God, that's like Luke.
Why I can't wait to start my stand-up career.
That's your stand-up career. I love it. Oh, I love it. Yeah, I mean, hey, you guys. I did
break it to my parents today. I talked to my mom on the phone. I broke it to her that I'm going to get into acting.
You broke it to her.
Yeah, I let her know. I say I'm getting into acting is one of my side hustles. So maybe if anyone knows anyone in Hollywood that needs an actor.
Like, I'm just gonna go star alongside Leonardo.
Just gonna fly to LA for the week. Little side hobby. Meanwhile, people are like living in like studio apartments for $2,500 a month, and they can't even afford it. They're Uber eating. That's how they're door dashing for their income and just grinding to act.
Hey, listen, man, it's I've reached out to a couple people, spoke with Shane Gillis. He may be making some movies. Booner appearance. That was big.
You got to make it more believable than that.
I am reaching out to him. I'm reaching out. I've got a few people to connect.
What about Sean Murphy? Shout out to him. He says, catch Booner in the next year auto insurance.
Hey, that gets me going. My end goal is a Seth Rogen movie or a Shane Gillis movie. That's my end goal, my career. I'm gonna have 2 careers. I'm gonna be this. This is my full-time job, and then I'm gonna quit my other full-time job. So I have this as full-time, and then my side hustle is acting. It turns into acting and stand-up.
Hey,
I'm
dreams.
Yeah, you
turn into a star over here.
Hey,
you got my support.
Hey, the boys will be on the red carpet as well.
Yep. It'll be like Entourage. It'll be like Entourage, Boone.
Oh, dude,
You'll great. Be Vinny.
Yes, I'll be Vinny. I'd be a good Vinny. I'd be a fun Vinny.
Hey, by the way, quick little update on what we're doing. I guess now it's a good time to tell the people. We're working some magic here. We're trying to get a crunch time exclusive.
Oh, it's going to be a done deal.
Jake Bates interview.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a done deal. I don't think
we're trying to pull some strings, trying to get in contact with the Panthers, their PR team, and maybe work out a Jake Bates interview. So stay tuned potentially for that. Boys are also going to the game next Saturday.
We are. And
we're going to the home game.
Not just maybe a Jake Bates interview. One of my questions will be, Jake, we have the same name. I'm looking to get into long snapping. Let's collab. See how so
push the envelope,
collab.
I'm gonna ask him for sure, and I'm sure he's gonna.
Why is it like an OnlyFans? Why are you phrasing it like that?
Dude, don't say that, dude. Bro, there's collabs in music. There's collabs in sports. You turned it into that. Come on, man.
Way too excited to be collabing with another man. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I was just asking.
Come on, dude. It's gonna be imagine a video, a crunch time video of me snapping the ball to Jake Bates, just kicking 60-yarders.
And then you know what we'll do on the flip side of that? Jeff will be a kick returner. I'll bring some pads. I'll bring some helmets. Jeff will be a kick returner, and I'll be flying down the field as like a gunner or something.
I think we could do it. We can make this happen. Yeah, I think we can make this happen.
Yeah, and by the way, Michael is absolutely right. Just keep in mind, teams are allowed to. Yeah, we're not. Yeah, we've been doing that. Trust me,
Let's
Michael. We no, we can't. That's I didn't say that because I just assumed that it's not going to happen. We're not going to be like, hey, would you like to join the Lions? Like,
I'm gonna mention something. Hey, what are you looking forward to this NFL season? I'm gonna hey, don't worry.
He'll probably
me and Jake will become good friends. We'll become friends.
But yeah, imagine you're like, okay, Jake. So what number are you going to wear with the Lions?
16.
Yeah. Wow. You're going.
Calls a shot.
Yeah. Well, come on, dude. What number is Siona Vaki?
I don't think he's picked it yet, Boone.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever number that is, that's
he's coming after his number.
Yeah. He's going at Vaki's head.
Fellas, before we get to mailbag,
this is crazy. By the way,
you sent me this, Boone. Fox NFL Podcast put out their wild card round NFC playoff prediction. The Eagles winning the NFC to have 2 seed, the 49ers, 3 seed, the Lions, 4 seed, the Falcons, 5th seed, the Packers, 6th seed, the Cowboys, and then 7th seed. You know, hey, you got
out of fucking pocket. Out of fucking pocket. Out of pocket,
sorry,
because out of pocket. I'm working on it.
Klotzy, no, dude. The reason I laugh is because Broski Bears put a comment about me, Jeff, and now you. He's just going at everyone's head today. He does not care. That was that I couldn't hold it in. I'm sorry.
Damn.
He's gone at me too.
That man, you know how like you wake up and choose greatness. He woke up and he chose smoke. Like he wants smoke today. But what do you think about the NFC now, the playoff prediction here? Anything that is just absolutely egregious before I get to?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I think, and I think Klotz will agree with me on this. I know they have the Lions at 3. I think the Lions, 49ers, and the Eagles are all going to be competing for that 1 seed come week 17, 18. So I don't think them putting the Lions at 3, yeah, you would want to see them at 1, and I think there's a chance they're going to be at the number 1 seed. But I think the Eagles, 49ers, and Lions will all be like down to the wire. It's going to come to week 18. Interesting one to me though, fellas. With Jeff, what's going on over there?
No, continue.
You sure?
Yeah. No, I'm straight. No, it's not even that, dude. It's just I'm just thinking of Lucas Rowe from earlier. He's like, I'm working on it.
I think too another thing.
Sorry, bro.
Are we good? Are we locked in? Lock in. Let me see you locked in. Come on.
I'm locked in. Go.
All right. Lock in. The other thing too, 3 NFC North teams, fellas. Bears, Packers, Lions. I think you take the Bears out, if I'm being honest, throw in the Rams.
Yeah, thank you.
I think the Rams or a team from that division ends up getting in. I don't think the Bears are going to make the playoffs. I love how everyone's so high on the Bears. I get it. They have a lot of weapons. They did a lot. I'm just not falling for that bandwagon until I see it. And once I see it, then I'll do it. All right. Are we gonna take the show seriously right now?
Oh, relax, Booner Sports Show. Relax.
Whoa, what was that?
Cat Guru.
Apollo, that's out of pocket. That's out of fucking pocket.
Come on.
See him up. It's a Draymond comment.
No, I'm kidding, boys. Laugh all you want. I'm just over here having fun.
Hey, listen, 3 NFC North teams, though, that's where I immediately thought of. Guys, I want to make this very clear before people are like, man, Jeff's going to defend the Bears. He's going to make his case for the Bears. I will clarify. I will clarify right now. I am with you, Boone. I think the Rams are more of a playoff worthy team than the Bears. I think the Bears could contend but they will fall short. I don't think they will make the playoffs. I just think there's better teams. But I'll tell you what, though, when I say contend, if they make it, I wouldn't be shocked.
Last year with Justin Fields, that's not a jump.
My point proven. If they can do it with Justin Fields,
watch out for the Bears. Watch out for it. No, they'll be solid. I got a question though for you fellas.
I'm telling you, the division's tough. Continue.
Division is tough, but one that's really not tough is the NFC East, and I could see a possibility where the Cowboys do not make it, even though that division is not that tough. I could see a team like the Buccaneers. I think the Rams are like a shoo-in. I think the Rams should be the 6, and then I'd put the Buccaneers even at 7. Hell, if the Saints somehow catch fire with Derek Carr this year, and they find that missing piece, what they needed, whatever it was, maybe they can get there. But I think the Buccaneers, they're not really going to go anywhere. I still think they're going to be a really solid team compared to last year. More playoff experience than the Bears, better coaching. I mean, we love DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, and Keenan Allen, but Chris Godwin, Trey Palmer, Mike Evans, that's no shab of a receiving core either.
What? Bro, what'd you do?
Take the show serious, boys.
Press the air horn.
Bro, hit the jet. I got it. There you go.
I don't want the Cowboys to make the playoffs. I hope they don't make the playoffs. My bad. We're not talking the NFL draft.
I'm over here. I'm like, we're doing. She says, I heard. I'm like, what's going on here?
Brad made a trade. Traded back up.
I did it the second time in the last week, dude. It's right there with the air horn. It's like right there. If you accidentally slip and click, it's done.
Michael asked where the boo button is. There's the boo button. I got booed earlier, Lucas. I don't know if you heard it. With
was
John
me?
Oh, son of a bitch. I knew it was you. All right.
There's so many different.
Yeah, honestly, guys, I'll say this. I wouldn't be shocked if the Eagles got the 1 seed because, Booner, you said it, those top 3 teams will compete for it. I think it drops off after that. I don't think the Falcons ain't competing for no 1 seed. So those 3 teams will be in the mix. I think a game or 2 will separate all of them. So maybe even 2 teams tie, and they got to go to the head-to-head or just NFC wins. So I think it'll be that close. I think the Eagles I'm with you guys. And Michael mentioned it yesterday. We're all in agreement. They'll bounce back, certainly. Yeah, Kellen Moore, him and Vic Fangio, and they got Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. They're working. Let's get to mailbag. So get your questions ready here because we're gonna transition. Not that kind of transition. What people are
drop mailbag questions. Come on,
that's your Booner.
That was not me.
I'm gonna start hitting it now randomly. Get your questions ready. Apollo says Falcons might just be that sleeper team this season.
You know what I think might happen with the Falcons?
The rock for Boone.
You know what I think is going to happen with this whole situation in Atlanta?
Have you seen
Kirk Cousins? I think Kirk Cousins is a professional. I think he's really. But when I heard on the Pat McAfee, someone, I don't remember the guy's name, and someone in the chat might have been watching and heard the same thing. But a big time reporter came out and said that one of the big reasons Kirk left Minnesota was because they wouldn't guarantee him through a certain year. And they also were very transparent. And he asked them, they were very transparent saying, we may draft a quarterback in the first round this year. And that was a big deciding factor on him saying, I'm going to leave Minnesota because I want to have that guaranteed money through whatever it is, 2025. And also, I don't want to be in a situation to where the team I'm with is drafting a quarterback in the first round to, then I'm not really guaranteed a job potentially after my first year there. Do you see what I'm saying with that? So that was the reason why he left Minnesota. That was like one of the biggest reasons was him and his agent asked Minnesota, are you guys going to be drafting a quarterback? And if so, that might kind of deter us to leave. And we don't want to do that. That's why he went to Atlanta, was because, he knew he was going to be the quarterback for at least probably 3 years, maybe 4, or 5, depending on what happens going forward. And he didn't even, and the guy said that him and his camp didn't even think to bring up to Atlanta, ask Atlanta. hey, are you going to take a quarterback with that first round pick? Because they didn't think there was a shot that they did it. But what the guy also said was the GM in Atlanta was a GM in New Orleans years ago when they missed on Patrick Mahomes. And the reason they missed on Patrick Mahomes was because they told people that they were going for Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs heard it, jumped them, and grabbed Patrick Mahomes. So because he was talking in New Orleans, telling people what their plan was, they lost out on Patrick Mahomes in New Orleans. He said that this GM this time said he wasn't telling anyone, not even Kirk Cousins. He wasn't telling anyone besides maybe a couple people that they were looking at Michael Penix, and if they loved the quarterback, they were going to go a quarterback. And that was the reason why they didn't tell Kirk Cousins. But to my whole point is, if you're Kirk Cousins and you left somewhere because of that, and you left that, and you expected the Falcons to tell you the truth and not kind of lie to you in regards to that. And in the back of my head, if I'm in a business or doing something and that happens to me, I'm always going to have a little bit of animosity to that person, whether I'm in the building working with them or not. I think there's going to be something in the next year or two to where Kirk Cousins is going to end up being out because of that. I think it's just not going to work there. They're going to butt heads a little bit, and there's going to be situations because Raheem Mostert had to do with all of that, and that's not a good start to have with your franchise guy.
Soprano-ass move, baby.
It is, but it's just you're with your quarterback, your franchise quarterback. It's just a weird. It's not a great start to have.
It really isn't that deep.
I think it is. I think it
really isn't. How about you play at a high level and he doesn't see the field?
I agree, Jeff. But when you leave somewhere that you were living and you played that, Jeff, when you leave somewhere because of that reason,
off an Achilles.
Okay.
I'm Kirk Cousins.
I get what you're saying, Boone.
But what I said made complete sense. He left somewhere because of that, and they turned their back where he went and did the same thing. That's the point. Is they essentially lied to him, and they knew that.
I think that's where Boone. That's where I completely get what you're saying. Where if I was Kirk Cousins deep down, I would be upset. But then that's where you have to be reminded that this is the fucking NFL. Like either way, you're okay. Worst case, I'm getting paid a bag. And I'm watching Michael Penix play football. Am I really going to be that mad? No. I mean, at the end of the day, he was the guy that took RG3 spot and was drafted in the same draft class. So he knows what that's like to be a franchise quarterback. RG3 run rookie of the year. It was going to be his show. And then here comes Kirk Cousins. So full circle. Now it's time for somebody to replace Kirk Cousins. And it's not that egregious to say because to Jeff's point, and I know you know as well, Booner, but there's still questions if Kirk Cousins would be good to go week 1. And legitimate questions because this is not the first major injury that Kirk Cousins has suffered.
He'll be good.
And I think he will, but it's not confirmed.
I confirmed it. He's going to be good week 1.
Okay, so the Booner sources, and I probably will end up agreeing with those sources, but there's still like, what if he suffers a setback in training camp? There could be setbacks in all this. What about when he starts playing? With those Achilles injuries, that affects your knee, it affects your calf, it affects a lot. So there could be like a little injury that makes Kirk Cousins sit out a game. And if Michael Penix balls out, what do you do then? Do you go with the guy that you just paid, or do you go with the guy?
It's a lot of guaranteed money, dude. To just
it is, but at the end of the day, I think it's something where because they're on a rookie quarterback contract, they'll be able to eat that if that makes sense.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I hear an echo.
What?
Do you guys hear the echo?
We're good.
It was Jeff. It was Jeff over there. Jeff did something.
I've nothing changes with my setup. So I don't know.
Yeah, good.
Could be.
Let's do mailbag, fellas. Like yesterday, we didn't get to mailbag because we were arguing running.
All right, that guy up north, mailbag, over under 1,000 yards for Laporta this season.
Over.
Slightly over.
He goes over. This is that year.
Interesting.
Give that man the rock.
Derek Lash, mailbag. How much show prep do you guys do? I learned. Why did you go right to me? Okay.
Well, yeah.
I prep every show. Like I have notes every show. I hate going in not prepared. It makes me like.
It depends how you operate. For me, I learned a valuable lesson early doing this, especially at our former employer. When I first started, I used to over prep a lot, like pages and pages of notes, and I learned that hurt me. It was actually it made everything more difficult. So now I'll write notes rather than like full blown notes, like more like points I want to hit on. Make sure I hit on these points. But I'm not with me and Adam, like he knows. I mean, sometimes it is real to over prep.
Yes,
there is a real thing.
I ran into the same situation doing the pregame shows with you guys to start, and then had that. And then when I started this show that I had at the other place, over prepping, Jeff, you were the one that told me and kind of taught me, and the same with Adam. You know, I do prep and get things ready every single day. I get bullet points because when you think of things, you can forget them, and you want to have your thoughts, you know, and as well as like, hey, if you want to bring some stats or some things to back up what you're saying, I do make sure I have that. Our prep is pretty good though. I do prep every day.
I mean, you got Patty Grimes. I mean, did Lucas get rid of his Ohio bad internet? What happened? I mean, you bounced back.
He was holding up for the whole hour and 15 minutes of the show.
It was like charging up.
Yeah, I guess he's taking third shift tonight. Decides just to boot on it directly at 9 o'clock.
It was like charging up. So there you go. Michael asks, Lions still have $23 million in effective cap space. What is one way you each think Brad will use some of it? Honestly, I don't think I think what he said that's very true is he'll use some of it. And I think some of it will be used to bring in somebody post-June after guys are cut, whether that's an edge or a wide receiver. I think that's where a little bit of the money will be delegated to, but I think there'll still be money available for midseason acquisitions and potentially, just really midseason acquisitions and for the future.
Spot on. I would hope some defensive pieces as well, just to add depth. I wouldn't hate like another safety in the defensive room to have some depth in that room. Maybe if there's an edge out there. What's his name that I brought up the other day? I'm trying to blank. Who did I bring up the edge the other day that I want? I don't know why I'm trying to blank right now.
We brought up a couple. I don't know. Who did you bring up?
Who did I have?
I'm just thinking of names that we brought up.
There's just one guy I wanted, and yes.
Was it Ngakoue?
Yes. No, Calais Campbell.
Oh,
yeah.
Campbell. Yeah, look at Tyler had your back. Look at Tyler.
One year deal. 1 year deal. Pay some money. I think there's a couple guys there that you can do that with. Spend a little bit of money.
And also, streams only is correct. Hopefully, a little bit of that money go to Bates. All right?
Yeah. Probably won't be a lot.
Little nickel. A little change.
We can negotiate with them. Does Brad want us to negotiate?
I'm sorry?
Does Brad want us to negotiate when we speak with him?
I don't know if he wants to take your negotiation tactic. What is it? Locking someone in a room and shutting the door.
Gets the job done.
Some shit goes down, and then he walks out, sign contract. I mean, that's like, hey, that's...
Gets the job done.
well,
I mean, you guys have terrible minds.
It could be like mafia-esque. Like, hey, shut the fucking door. All right, watch outside. We're going to talk to him. And then when he comes out, he'll have it signed.
Glad you know how I work.
Jake Bates comes out. He's like, I'm happy to play for the team.
I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful to play for this team.
Yeah. Now get over there, champ. We'll get some water. Fucking just, okay.
Don't fucking miss either.
We'll force that. Don't you fucking miss. We'll be back.
Like, you ever see how the, what do you call it? Not the fucking, the cartel, how like the old like Brazilian Olympic teams, like they would like legit kill the players if they played bad.
Are you serious?
You could see the players like shaking on the field.
Soccer players, yeah. They know that they're going to die. It's crazy. You have to watch some documentaries and videos on it. It's nuts. I've heard people talk about it as well. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, yeah. There's like
this one dude misses a kick, and you can just see the look on his face. He's like, and he just knows like it's over with, and they couldn't do a damn thing about it.
Nuts, dude.
Wait,
get over there, Jeff.
There's been a lot of people that have been killed that way.
Yeah, like they would like their whole lives they would train to be on the Olympic team, and I feel like eventually like they knew like how it worked, but like they would just train. They'd miss a kick, it'd be like 28 years old, dead.
I just wouldn't want to be on that. I just want to join the team.
No.
I'm not on the team.
If you were good, you got paid. But even like it was only for so long.
One bad game.
Eventually, you're not good. You know what I mean? Like eventually, you hit that decline. And you hit that decline.
Yeah, you have to like retire before you decline, or you have to like really time it well.
Wow, what a way to end this show! It got dark.
Let's do like another question or something. Let's end it.
I don't know why that came to my mind.
Yeah, can we get there? Paul.
Paul. Shout out, Paul. Paul says, Mailbag, who has more rushing yards, Monty or Gibbs? Call it. I'm clipping it.
Gibbs, clip it.
Gibbs,
clip it. Gibbs, clip it.
Jeff, I am
Gibbs,
going to fucking cook you if you say, which is even awful to say, injury with Gibbs. There's
Zion-Vaki.
I think Gibbs, but I'm gonna give him the edge.
Close.
I'm gonna give him the edge. I think it'll be 200-300 yard difference.
That's not a lot.
I can live with
that. That's a lot.
I can live with that, but still. Maybe 200.
200 to 300 yards.
Maybe 150. Maybe 150.
Maybe 50. I keep going down.
Maybe Monty misses a game and Jameer has a good one.
Yeah. No, I think it'll be like 1,800 or like 1,100, 900, like something like that.
Wait. What?
What?
Did you say a 19? Oh, 900, 1,100. I thought you said 1,900, 1,100. I was like, dude, that's a lot of yards. That's a lot of rushing yards.
Yeah, 1,900. 2,000 for Gibbs, about 1,000 for Montgomery.
I was so confused for a second.
We'll get out of here. We appreciate you guys. So much fun. Shout out to John, Maakaron, the doc for joining the program. We'll be back tomorrow with another great show. We got some topics planned for you guys. Can't wait. We appreciate you sticking to the end. Until tomorrow, we'll have some content put out through the day, so look forward to that. If you're at work and you want to watch some content, Lions content, check out our channel, and please tell a friend to subscribe, because we're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers, and we are on our way. Until next time, we'll catch you guys. Deuces.
Love you guys.